Greetings, mortals. I am Natus, the ruler of the underworld, and we have 2 weeks worth of manga chapters to discuss. So let's not go pee around the bush and get right into it. As we start this off with Shadow House chapter 194, titled Undercurrent. Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of the play in this next couple of chapters. But anyways, we start this chapter off with Kate giving the announcement about the success of having all of the debutees succeeding and coming to the children's wing. We have her saying it's a new era where we work together to help each other up to succeed, which is what the whole point of this was, for the new generations to be able to get there. Because previously in previous generation it was kind of like understandable to just kind of push everyone away. Like, I mean, you have teams work together to succeed, but it's mostly, it's not uncommon for them to like push around or use one another. It's like, which was established even better in the beginning of this Rescue Lose arc with the character of King, who was a leader in a team with Douglas, but he mostly was just using everyone else, with the only ones remaining being the ones who were able to survive his abuse. And it's kind of again stated this by Douglas in this chapter, as while he's looking at everyone partying, he's staring watching them as Mia joins as Douglas's doll. Face looks at Mia and is like, "We were never particularly close despite us being debutees together. We just kind of mutually used each other for success. And since this new era and everything that's going on, Douglas probably wants to, you know, get, kind of be the one to extend a hand so they could, join forces together, since he has probably like the best chance of getting her to work with them again and joining them. Like Kate also, I would say, has a good chance, but Douglas is a little bit more. They can relate to me a bit more than Kate can. But unfortunately for Douglas, I think Douglas's living role is just Doug. I think that's usually the naming scheme they have. But regardless, Doug, when he wants to wants to reach out, Mia just steps on Doug's leg as he's like, ow, 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 ow. As he's like, he doesn't scream, but he's like in pain because, she stabbed him. I think in the heel on her foot, so yeah, he's in pain. As Mia, we probably get like the biggest curveball and the biggest, like, what the hell? As we have it revealed that Mia actually, his suit is kind of undone in a way. Because we get to her inner monologue where we confirm that she does have memories of her past life. And it's kind of weird the situation is just unlike Kate or even more so Candy, who, try to take command or change the house or stuff like that. Mia's actually in favor of the house's functionalities, or the parts that she knows of. I don't think she knows of the whole suit takeover thing. But regardless of that, she's aware of that and she wants to go through with it. It's just that she's pissed off because her master is an idiot. Like, that's what she straight up calls it. It's her. Like, she's a fool and calls Dog's master a good one. That he's, an actual competent one, while her master is a buffoon. Which is even more stirred by the fact that Sarah is going to, like, celebrating to Douglas about, guess what? Edward, yeah, he agreed to my marriage proposal because he thinks I'm essential. Well, Mia probably, I don't know if Mia thinks that Edward is aware that Edward's using her, or if she's just, okay, we need to keep ourselves useful, but this idiot will probably end up jeopardizing it, even if we are being used. Because during this chapter, she commented, like, I'm not gonna wake up, I'm going to go through with this. And the reason why she's so convinced to go through with this is because apparently Mia killed her own family to get into the Shadow's house. Which, because this is anime and manga, we have to question how exactly is being she killed her family supposed to be interpreted. Is it supposed to be like literal stabbing in the back? Is it figurative? Like she left she like figurative, like her family was in trouble, and she should have went to go inform everyone, but instead of telling everyone she just sort of went on the train because they didn't have time, because like the action novels don't give a shit. Or is it like, is there like more of an act of a time? Like, did she have like a twin sister that she swapped with herself and then like hid her somewhere in the forest and the family went to look for her? It's again, it's could be many interpretations of this line, but regardless of how from what we know now is Mia did something to her family that she considers herself her family's killer and is not going to join Kate's side for a while. Is she honestly could die? Like I would not be surprised if she does have like a tragic end to this story. It's kind of like what's the name of that girl that was killed by by Anthony I think it was probably some kind of flower name. Well, regardless, kind of like her, where she tragically died. Masters tragically died from a broken heart, and then that girl also died in an ironic sense. She made fun of her master's death and how it came down to, but then she died the same way. And yeah, and things, kind of ironic and poetic kind of ending or stuff like that. And now we actually find out that that may not have been the end of her story, because after the whole focus on the kid celebrating, we cut to Edward's reaction to the Lou and Louis unification. As he comes there, he knows like everything's like kind of covered in soot, as well as Louis. Like Louis is like completely covered in soot and beaten. Like they probably couldn't. I'm assuming we get like a few skipping off it around, because I wasn't ask him why he's covered in suit. I'm assuming. I mean, Lewis just probably said something like, "Oh, while I was guarding it and came to see if everything was going smoothly, there was like a big explosion of soot all over and from the little openings from the coffin, and that kind of covered me entirely. Like it completely covered everything." Living and stuff like that. I'm assuming that's what he said, because Apple doesn't at all comment on it. All he does is open the coffin to look at a girl, and as he's looking at the thing, I'm not entirely sure what the suit thing is. Like maybe it's just supposed to be like a pile of suit or something that remains of Louis when she was inside or whatever. It does kind of look like humanoid, but I'm not entirely sure that's just kind of the after image or something. But regardless, we have him looking at the body, and he sees there's like a cut around the neck. And even the hair kind of looks a bit more faded. I don't know. I mean, okay, Shell's House does have like a digital color release the same time as like English. I don't know why that's the case, but whenever there's an English release for a chapter, we also have like the digital. We also have the color as versions or the color versions for it, and the color does kind of seem a bit faded. So it's very likely that this girl, that Anthony used the body of the girl that he killed, because it was, I think, said that they made a grave for the master, but they didn't make a grave for the girl, because they thought, because that way how the culture is in Shadow House, they don't value dolls the same way as they value masters. So a Shadow Master dying is a big thing, but a living doll dying is kind of indifference. So if, for example, like Bella or Maribella or Isabella, one of them die, it would be an issue, and they had to get rid of one of the dolls. But if one of the dolls dies, it's kind of like, okay, do they need to? Is there a need for both of them to have the face dolls, or would one doll be enough for both of them? Kind of a thing. So it's kind of like one of that. So they kind of didn't give the girl a proper burial. So I guess Anthony counter took the body before it was disposed of, and then which now I think about it, how do they dispose of the children's corpses? I'm now just getting some very horrific images. And then he just kind of made her look like Louise, and threw it in. I'm assuming he probably damaged the face and stuff, so it would not be obvious. I'm assuming there's probably more. So it's just that he didn't do anything about the throat. And Edward does look a bit suspicious at it. Like he sees the scar and he looks at Lewis, be like, and he hasn't said anything. But I'm assuming we're gonna get like a corpse autopsy moment with Edward and his group, because I mean he seems suspicious, and I know he could be fooled by Lewis. Lewis was chosen because he was kind of the only one that I would felt like he could use for his own benefit, because everyone else is more on Thomas's side. So, so he's not entirely confident with or trusting Lewis. So now he's kind of a bit more suspicious, but not entirely he's not gonna be revealing his cards right now. I could see in a couple of chapters, but right now he'd keep it hidden. Actually, I do know what the next two chapters are gonna be, and we don't have any focus on Edward. But yeah, anyways, as we cut from them, Lewis and Edward's going away, as Edward tells Lewis that they will leave the bodies to the faceless souls to dispose of them. The leaf has been cut back to Kate and the children, as we have that scene that we had where the only times where I think in the manga the great grandfather actually does anything, where he puts the window up, sticks out his hand, as all the children and the faces are be like, oh yeah, so great, oh my god, it's amazing, yay! As we have Kate realizing that we did something that's insane against the house, and this isn't something that could be able to walk. We cannot walk away from this. We are now just going to go full out. We managed to trick them this time, so they're not going to immediately react to it, but there is definitely they're not going to be able to do this many times. They're definitely going to be suspicious, especially if every time the reaction is going to be less fanatical from the children. I mean, at least I think so. I know. The great grandfather is kind of a weird character, all things considered. Because I could honestly see him be just a suit creation by the third floor residents, like a figurehead rather than actual being. Because I don't think in the manga we've actually ever seen the guy do or interact or anything in it. I might be forgetting, but I don't think he had any lines, namely. I mean, the whole moment where he talks, I think the only time we actually do have him talk is in the anime, and then I'll fill arc just to have a moment to end, just for a finale in the season 1, because the story was kind of this, kind of weird, because the changing they had. So yeah, she realizes that there's no, but regardless, if they become less and less fanatical in reactions every time, they'll realize something is up. So now they have to get ready for it. And then we have the children all leaving and going back to their children's ring. As Kate notices that one adult, aka Joseph, is walking in that area. As Kate is like, why is an adult here? Because this is the gateway between the children's and the and the adults' wings. I think it's literally the entrance to the bridge. It's that bridge that we had. Then we need to fix after the Mario's incident. So okay, it's kind of weird. Why would an adult walk there? Because it's not an area that you have to pass. So she just kind of she just responds the way she should respond when a child sees an adult, just respectfully bows. As Joseph stops and is like, "Great work on the debut, Kate." Which also takes her back, Kate a bit, because wait, he acknowledged me, and he knows who I am because again the third floor residents are complete unknowns to Kate and her group. Like I don't even know if they got name dropped to Kate. I mean, I could kind of say they were, but it's unclear. So Kate is kind of taken aback by it, as then she looks a bit at Joseph, as Joseph I think also kind of looks at her like as he kind of like, okay, let's see how you're gonna react to the briefcase. As Kate sees the briefcase and she does release spontaneously, it's more of an immediate reaction thing, a bit of soot coming from her hair, as Joseph just, yeah, that confirms it. As he walks around the corner, like, and when I say around the corner, I mean like literally around the corner, but also like stops just to get out of the sight and probably out of the earshot of Kate and Milko, because Milko's like, Mistress Kate? As Joseph thinks to himself, a once in a lifetime opportunity, huh, Catherine? And in case you forgot, Catherine is the name of Kate's mother. In fact, I think Kate is actually a name from, is actually inspired by Catherine's name, so there's a bit of a connection there. Connection between the mom and daughter there, and he already thinks of her. Now, I'm not entirely certain if this is... Now, this is, of course, led to a lot of discussion, like, does Joseph know Kate's mother? Is he from that time? I mean, he does look older than the rest, and we don't have a face reveal for him yet, although, to be fair, I don't think we have actually seen anyone's face doing Kate's backstory. Like, I think they kept them all relatively vague, except for the maid, so I'm not entirely certain that we would put the connection pieces with anyone. I mean, yeah, honestly, to be fair, we know there was a person running with the suit creatures, but we don't know if that's Joseph. Although this does kind of at least give us like idea. It's either Joseph or the great grandfather. Like one of those two has to be there. And Joseph knows something. Now, what's that going to be? We don't know. Joseph seems very much to be the right-hand man of the great-grandfather. In fact, I think one of the extra chapters even does refer to Joseph as the great-grandfather's right-hand man. So I'm not entirely certain if this means that he's going to become an ally, or if he's going to have like some kind of redemption moment, or if this is just him being, oh, yeah, or him being like, oh, this is clearly Catherine's daughter. She shouldn't exist right now, considering what happened with her mother. Although, to be fair, I don't think I confirmed that they covered into it, though. Honestly, if he does think this is Catherine's mother and he saw the reaction, he probably, and not to mention all the evidence that he got from Edward, I feel like at this point, he would probably be able to be like, alright, there's something seriously suspicious here. So he got probably kind of get that is Kate the one that's the daughter of Catherine. Especially she was the one that knows and reacted to it. So why would so it would make sense if a miracle was the trouble one, the one that with the one that hated the briefcase. But here you clearly have Kate being the one that reacts to it. Like the living old didn't even seem to notice the briefcase. So yeah. Yeah, as boss, I think Ivo did say something about like there was an infiltrator who was keeping their face hidden. So I mean, I don't know if he realizes that Kate is a or a pre-born unified doll or something, but Joseph can guess. He can put the pieces together that Kate is that. And also, I'm kind of feeling like that's probably why he took the briefcase in the first place, to see how Kate will react to it. Probably nothing else, because like any other, the content is probably just a bunch of girls' clothing, so it's not really gonna benefit him much. But regardless, Joseph is aware, and I'm guessing he's gonna be making a move in a few chapters' time, because, like, again, it depends. We don't know how he feels about it, but the way I kind of get a vibe saying is like, oh, she will be useful, kind of vibe. Like, I could totally see where he favors Kate and wants Kate to be in the third floor residential area. It's just that, no, changing the house will be a problem. Like, I could honestly kind of see him being the abusive grandpa type of character to Kate. Always like, Kate, I like your intelligence. I like your personality. You are top tier. Like, as soon as you become adult, we will put you to the third floor residence. Like, even though we should probably put you in the third floor residence, honestly. It's just, your whole change in the house is a bit of a problem to Grandpa, so we'll have to kick that out of you for now. We'll make sure that it gets out. So, we'll see on that side if Joseph feels about that. But anyways, after a Shadow House, we have This Time for Torture Princess, chapter 232, Torture 232, which is an actual torture, as we have Kala taking Princess to a zoo, because, again, the tortures at this point are just the princess doing fun stuff and her thanking them by giving them answers. Like, she's even thinking about what answer to give this time. Like, there is no resistance at all anymore. As Kala asked what's her princess' favorite animal, as Princess also it's a koala. She really likes them, and she always even called it a koala, which Kala kind of is like, oh, you call it with a koala? Whoa, you're really strong. As Princess finds it odd, as the two of them go to a koala, and Princess wonders why she thought it was so wild, as Kala shows her what koalas in the demon world look like, and Princess kind of surprised by it because koalas in the demon world are, well, one thing, they're human sized. Two things, they have a lot more of an upset expression, and they talk. And even refer to themselves as Old One. So Prince is a bit shocked by this, and Carla is kind of surprised the fact that Prince didn't want to give a secret out because, she said that koalas are her favorite. But Princess is kind of still taken aback more because of how koalas in Demon World look like, which I think is the reason why she doesn't explain in detail, being like, oh, koala. Like, she even stated she has a picture of a koala, or how she colored with a koala, but she doesn't show that to Kathleen. There might be some extra material where she shows what a koala looks like to Kathleen later, but regardless, she doesn't explain well enough, but the koala does hear, the koala in the demon world does hear that Princess likes koalas, and the koala's like, oh, I'm very grateful that I'm someone's favorite because there's so much more cuter animals than me here. So he has like a little smile, like aw. Like, I mean, it's not adorable like how they usually do it, but like kind of like the most adorable face you can kind of make with this kind of character because it's supposed to be kind of the ironic thing. But regardless, the princess finds it cute and gives away her secret. And then she and the cat lady just spend the whole day until nighttime to in the park and even buy plushes, which, funny enough, do actually look to be more inspired by the actual koalas from the human world. But anyways, the gag that we end this story off on is by revealing that koalas actually comes to work in the zoo. Like, I'm talking, it leaves the zoo in a shirt and wearing a bag as the employee tells them, good work today, we'll see you tomorrow. As Prince like, koalas have jobs in the demon world too. So, yeah, now let's ignore the implication, the fact that there's apparently a breed of animals whose job is going to zoos to stand around and sit around naked, but regardless, it's the comedy that counts, not the actual implications. So, yeah. Again, it starts with Torture Prince. It's kind of a simple series, so there's not really much to discuss. It's just a bunch of funny things to happen. But anyways, now we go from from This Time for Torture to Peakness, and that is of course 100 Girlfriends That Really, 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 Really Love You. Chapter 177, titled Zetsubo Boruda-san. In case you're wondering why the new girlfriend's name is in the title, is because throughout the entire chapter they don't name drop her, so the author probably decided to put the name in the chapter because it's not like it's gotta be like a gimmick with the character where we never learn the name. Like I think in the last chapter we actually do get like a full name for her, like a normal name, but in this one we don't get a mention at all. So the writer just decided to give it in the title. I mean, I would not be surprised that we eventually get a girlfriend that's gimmick is gonna be the fact we don't know her name. Anyone's just gonna refer to her, or maybe it's gonna be like one of those. You know who we are talking about. You know who we are referring to, or points. So we'll see if we're going to get a girlfriend but right now we don't. So, anyways, we start this chapter off with the characters finally, ending their day and leaving the rooftop to go home as they're discussing a new picture book as they, while they're leaving, called Yuma's Home in the Clouds, which is a very cheerful and a very happy children's picture book, and everyone's kind of happy about it. Kurane is being a tsundere over it, Mimi is being very happy, the children are being very happy. Amo-chan is very happy about it, and everyone's kind of happy as then they see as Rento spots a girl going off at the rooftop. Unfortunately, we do not get a confirmation. Now, judging by Rento's reaction, I'm kind of guessing that people are allowed to enter the rooftop, even if they all down. Yeah, even with Hakai being in charge, because he doesn't like, because Rento is not like, wait a minute, Hakai made certain that no one is allowed to go onto the rooftop after she became the boss before us. I don't know, maybe there's like a time limit for when they can go on the rooftop, but I don't know, like, the discussion about how much the students are aware of what's going on the rooftop and how much they're allowed to go on the rooftop is going to be a discussion for a while. And I was like, I'm expecting it to be answered in a chapter when we get like a focus on the students are going up the rooftop and you see like weird stuff happening with no context and just leaving down. But regardless, Rento goes up there to see a girl as he tells them that he forgot something on the roof. So he goes there and he sees that the girl is standing there. As Rento asks about the girl, as the girl turns around and they look eyes at each other, as they have the sparkle and they have the stroke as their soulmates. As Rento's like, I guess it's not one of my soulmates. Rento at this point should probably just expect any girlfriend that he meets on his own to be a girlfriend, because like I'm pretty sure that always happens. Like the only reason Amachan was a new one didn't happen before he met. Didn't met her alone is because she was always with all the girlfriends. But regardless, he has like he has a moment as he asks them being like, "What are you doing here?" As he sees this face, this girl who, she has like a long dark colored hair, as it's kind of like wavy, and she has kind of like that, like I want to say creepypasta type of face, where it's like a blank, like it's a smile, but it's kind of blank, like, it's kind of difficult, like it's kind of like. I think you've seen, if you saw creepypasta faces or yandere faces, like you would kind of get that kind of expression from her. As Rentaru asks her what she's doing, and she's saying, "Oh, just thinking about despair and ending stuff." As Rentaru asks why she's in despair, as she tells him that she's in despair because of the world. As Renta's kind of like, oh wow, we suddenly got really deep, kind of a similar thing with Shizuku's mom thing, where it's like, whoa, we're not going goofy here, are we? As we then have the girl, Renta trying to cheer her up with a book, as he's mentioned the one in the beginning, because, that will cheer you up, because like that's kind of how they price the book, like it cheers everyone up. As the new girlfriend reveals to him, yes, I know that book. I wrote it, in fact. As then we have a cap that, like, I think artist cap flumps up on her head. And it's like, oh, right! We mentioned that book and it's being very good and popular and liked. So we had to show the character with the artist hat. It would be kind of obvious that you're the author. So we wanted to keep it hidden for now. Oh, as the girl's like, yeah, he blew up. Yeah, I guess that's the reason why. As Rento's like, oh, wait a minute. You see that the fact that hat came back to you, because she said that the hat blew off yesterday, today, and it came back now. He says, oh, you see, this is a miracle. It shows that the world isn't full of despair. And she just says, you were reading way too much into it. It's just a easier for the contrivance for the writer. As Rentaro then he tries to prop more into the girl into Zetsuburo, though as we get kind of an origin story for the well, we get an origin story for Zetsubo, and we have find out that she was like a very cheerful and happy girl who kind of had like the Oshinoko eyes, not stars, but she had like I think hard like things in her eyes. And she was very helpful as a child, and very like voluntary to a point of being bullied by her classmates when she got into got into high school. Well, then in high school, right? I think yeah, she got into high school as she volunteered constantly did everything for the teacher, and that kind of in teenagers are throwing the bucket of the water, calling her a teacher's pet, and just all that negativity because they didn't think, oh, they thought she was just sucking up the teacher and not just her wanting to help everyone in every way she can. So it's pretty relatable. Well, they're throwing the bucket over the bucket of water over a student is not relatable, but the rest is kind of normal. As she just kind of smiles there, and we kind of get like the first kind of inklings of the face that she's going to have now. But then the way she interprets as that kind of behavior from her classmates is not in a negative way. The way she interprets it like, oh, I have to do more for the society, for the world. So she went onto all the worst websites, all the most like, oh shit, no, tragic websites to a point that it made her buff. And yeah, she saw so much of it that the color in her eyes completely went away. Which makes me wonder we're gonna have a moment where she gets around that, or there's gonna be a moment where we briefly see her without that. I'm not entirely certain, but we have to wait and see. Maybe it's gonna be kind of like a thing where, with a swapping the body thing, where when a character swaps, they actually do get like normal expressions, like Akko, who kind of has like, oh, he has a kind of derpy like smile, like yay, what did that, yeah, girl, and stuff like that. So, but then when Karane takes over her body, she's like actually has more of a I'm angry kind of expression. So it does me kind of wonder if we're gonna have like a swapping souls chapter with her, and then we have the girl going back to her right eye color. But regardless, uh, but regardless, we have the two of them talking as Rentaro then tries to give her hope by bringing up his life and how it's true that we can't solve all the world's problem and everything that's wrong, but we can still at least be helpful. Giving that inspirational speech that he does to save the day as she reacts. As she listens to her and just balls that like it doesn't matter because even if he's happy with his girlfriends, there's a bunch of others who don't have love because like it doesn't like it's easy for people who have love in their life to say love will save the day or be better than anything else than to people who don't have any of that. But regardless, Enter gives his speech, and surprisingly enough, although he does mention that he has multiple girlfriends, like he uses the plural word for girlfriends. She doesn't seem to react to it at all, which is even funnier because he does offer to date her as well. But she doesn't mention it at all. Like usually when Rentaro mentions girlfriends, the characters do react to it. Like Moha reacts, wait, you have multiple girlfriends and you want to add me to it? You know there are like ethical problems with this, right? Or Kiki, where she's like, wait, you said girlfriends as in multiple? And I think he even gives the number of the girlfriends at a time. He's like, oh, that's abnormal. I will date you, yes. So it's kind of weird she doesn't react to it. Like maybe it's gonna be an extra chapter because this chapter does feel like it has to like condense a lot of the new girlfriend jokes and personality and all that into one to the point that we didn't even get her name in this chapter. So I'm kind of guessing that's kind of. So I'm guessing we're gonna have to have the extra chapter for the jokes with her. So, anyways, then we have like a little joke at the end where we reveal where the girlfriend reveals that she will not. Well, Renta tells her just please do not depart or leave this earth before that, or something along those lines. And she tells Renta, oh, she wasn't planning on jumping and killing herself or something like that because the way it looked like it was gonna look like she was gonna jump or from the school, but she revealed that she just came out for fresh air. Like this is like the rooftop. It's like the best place to get some fresh air and inspiration. As she reveals that she's actually very much she's very much enthusiastic about like helping the world. Like she's still like that fairy tale, which is also something that's mentioned in the backstory that what inspired her to become a fairy tale author after she became so dark and depressed was seeing how happy a child was over a fairy tale picture book. So that inspired her, and now she's also gonna be writing picture books and fairy tales for everyone to be happy and for everyone to be happy. So yeah, that whole depressing thing was kind of a prank to reveal that her co-worker is gonna be while she's always depressed, she's also very always cheerful. So she very much wants to make the world better. She's not like just submitting to despair and the cruelty of the world. So she's like infuriated, constantly walloping in despair kind of deal. So which makes sense. I mean, most characters in 100 Girlfriends do have like a thing where they have like two very contrasting personalities. Like they have they have one thing like Karani being a tsundere, but she's also like the most honest and the most like what the hell's wrong with this picture kind of character. So it makes sense that we have this girl who's constantly in despair, but also very enthusiastic. Since like, why would someone who's constantly in despair even want to live? If there is, and also they were a bit enthusiastic. And yeah, and that's the end of the chapter. And I'll be honest, this is kind of one of those I want to say weak chapter introductions because it kind of relies on a lot of exposition about the girlfriend for us to kind of get her. I mean, no, it's not a bad thing. I mean, it's 100 Girlfriends, so this chapter is obviously better than most chapters just in series. Well, it's obviously one of the best chapters in these 2 weeks, but it does kind of feel forced on the exposition side of things. But regardless, even if a girlfriend's first introduction chapter isn't good, either the next chapter is gonna be making you like her, or make you prefer, or make her rise up in the rankings, or a few interactions down the line with the other girlfriends will make you like her. So yeah. Anyways, now with peak out of the way, it's time that we talk about the first chapter of the epilogue arc for My Hero Academia, chapter 424, titled Epilogue. We'll talk about the state of My Academia's future at the end of the chapter. So anyways, we start this chapter off with a bit of a the storm has passed and now it's time for restoration. As we we reveal that characters are showing up to the heroes that were sent from America and a few other nations have come to Japan and are now able to help with fixing the buildings and construction, all that. Like even if they didn't help against All for One, they can at bare minimum help now when it comes to restoration. And thanks to quirks and abilities of people, they're able to fix things a lot quicker than they would before quirks, because superpowers make life easier. So if a construction work, what would be easily months of repairs and structurally and organizing is now being done in like a snap of the finger. Like materials are just popping off everywhere. Everyone's just able to build it instantly and all that stuff. And the reason why we start this chapter off with so much like, oh, everything's going so smoothly, everything's being fixed so quickly and happily and easily is because because My Hero Academia is now going to drop on the reality thing. It's like one of those, like, you build up one term, like you hype up, but then you have like the reality in your face getting thrown at you with one of the Mario-inspired doctors coming to Bakugo as he tells him, yeah, your arm is fucked up. Like, I mean, you can probably get some of it back, but if you do the normal like procedures, but the chances of it being back to what it fully was, or the chances of it honestly even restoring is like very unlikely. So you might as well, like, we might as well. The idea of chopping your arm off and giving a robotic prosthetic arm like we did with Miracle, which we do actually get a little reaction to how that whole process went with Miracle being like, "Nah, just chop it off. We don't have time for this stupid therapy. Just get us into the action," which makes me kind of wonder what Miracle is doing right now, since the last time we saw her was just a armless and legless handicapped person. But regardless, he just tells Buckle the options, and Buckle tells him, "No, my quirk is in my palms, so I kind of need my palms. I can't just cut them off and call it a day, like Miracle could." To be fair, Miracle also does require arms and legs for her quirk, but I guess because most of it's more physical strength, maybe it's a lot easier to duplicate with robotic prosthetics. But regardless, Buckle tells her that he has to go with therapy. He even like does the whole screaming thing, like, "Fine, I'll go through therapy. Let's start it. So sooner we start, sooner it will be over." But the doctor just tells him that he needs to uh, rest, especially considering the fact that, the whole restarting your heart thing that you did, like, that was medical. It was a 1 in 10 chance to 1 of 100 chance of happening, and resting is probably like your only option. Like, you probably shouldn't even be screaming right now and all that. So yeah, Bakugo is like not coming out of it like easily. Like, this is like one of those things where the healing process all takes place quickly or overnight, or we completely skip over it. Like, My Academia is going to address a bit of the fact that characters are insanely injured, being unable to move. So I'm assuming that's also gonna be like a way to like kind of power scale the characters a bit down for this arc. So like we're going to have lower level villains do stuff, and we kind of or for there to be stakes and some action, we'll probably need characters to be a bit more like, all right, I cannot jump as quick as I could before, so I'm going to have to like rely on one arm instead of too much. So yeah, let's get this over. So yeah, it's gonna be a bit of that with the character, like trying to not overextend themselves. But anyways, then we have Deku and we got to Deku and All Might as Deku thinks himself, how ironic that we end up in the same hospital room. As All Might tells him, oh no, this isn't an accident. Like, Tukauchi did some talking, and we both agreed to did some pull some strings probably for the best between the security and the treatments, and we were both in the same room since we are kind of same level priority. So they're together now. As Shiraki, as Deku is a bit upset about it, as he tells his grievances to All Might about how he couldn't really save Shiraki. He ended up dying. As All Might asks Deku, what was Shiraki's final thought? What was the final sentiment? And Deku tells him that Shiraki was, had a pretty chill, happy expression, and tell him to not. I think it was something along the lines of not letting darkness come again, or not letting or make the brighter future, or something on those lines. So that All Might tells Deku, you saved him. He died, but his soul, his conscience, and that what is the truly important one was saved. So he may not be alive today for us to see him. He did at least have a good sentiment, good final sentiment. He passed on with light in his heart, kind of deal thing, kind of situation here. So it's kind of like, the actual conclusion that I felt we all were kind of getting with My Academia and Chiraki's storyline. I still don't understand why people didn't think this was kind of the way that we were gonna end Chiraki's storyline. Like, I mean, I get that there's issues with Manga Academia's writing, but why exactly were you people expecting Cherokee to have any other ending than this type, on this kind of level? Like, why? Why? But anyways, as Deku and All Might have this conversation, they have Bakugo coming in there, as he's also like, he's not screaming or anything, he's kind of like, hey Deku, are you all fine? As Bakugo's parents are like, back to the hospital, back with you! You should be walking! Which part of resting did you not get? I mean, I do want to see him, your friend and all, and teacher, but dude, you should still rest, which, personally, I feel like you should have just been put in on the same batting version with that logic, but whatever. But anyways, Bakugo is just very happy to see him, as he also overheard that Deku said that One for All is actually in its Amber state, like kind of similar to as All Might's was. All Might was, but probably lesser, where Deku does not have much power left in it. He probably has like bare minimum of power that's probably going to last a bit while, only because he's not gonna be using it for a while because of injuries and all that. So yeah. Anyways, Bakugo was kind of pissed off at that because now Deku doesn't even have because pretty soon Deku's not even going to have the ability to surpass him. Like, which is again supposed to like be one of those like moments where you see how much the characters have grown and changed. Where we have Bakugo being very sad for Deku in this situation, as Deku is telling him, "It's fine. I never had a quirk to begin with, so what does it matter if I don't have?" So it's not like it matters much, as it's a kind of very somber type of scene, which makes sense. And I'm certain the shippers are gonna go crazy over it, but it's just a good moment between friends and everyone. But anyways, as we kind of go into like a bit of a monologue situation here, we have a character stating that while the fight is over, it doesn't mean the bright future the heroes are intended to bring is here yet, as we have Shoto there, Ochako, some food that is probably supposed to have some kind of meaning in Japanese culture, as we have the end of the chapter with Deku returning to school after his injuries, which a lot of people said that his haircut, which I'm getting a lot of complaints about Deku's haircut, but I think that's just more of a thing how most people look like after the operation that Izuku is going to have. But I know anyone's going to actually think about stuff like that, since in general, I feel like a lot of people have like a very low expectations on Hakoshi at this point. But regardless, we have characters going off into school, reminding us all that Ochako and Shoto's story hasn't really concluded, at least the emotional and character stuff. So I'm guessing this is gonna be like a thing that's gonna be focused in this epilogue arc to conclude, way to end everything. So yeah. Now, so to discuss, Kokoshi last week revealed that My Academia is kind of going back to its root, being the My Hero Academia thing, because like this is a thing in Japan that like a lot of people did not like the legal villains things. Like they really want to keep the whole academia part, which is kind of like one of those things, which is like one of those thing times where you realize like maybe Japan isn't the best when it comes to being used as a judge of stuff. Like really, an issue with the main villains in this series, a problem, but you want to focus on the school stuff. So My Academia is now going back to that route. And from what I've seen of the spoilers for the next chapter, it seems like we'll be, and some statements, I'm thinking we are going to have the epilogue arc be a bit more than just this one volume, because remember, the whole end of the confrontation between All For One and Shiraki and all that was at the beginning of volume 42, I would say, or is it 41? I think 42. I think it's 42 amount of chapters. So I'm going to assume. So I kind of was wondering if this whole is going to be wrapped up in this chapter. in this volume, if there's gonna be one, or there's gonna be one more volume, and it does seem like there's gonna be a bit more to it. Probably to fully flash out everything to get conclusions, because again, like it also does seem like we're not just going to be having characters have like their final like moments on. It does seem like there's gonna actually be some story, a new final epilogue villain, stuff like that. So I could see a bit more of a few couple of more volumes for MHA. Like, from what I'm kind of getting the vibes of, I could see it being like kind of a first 3 volumes of MHA kind of situation where we just have like things going full circle. So I'm assuming this means that we're going to have quite a few more chapters of My Academia until the end. I mean, Hakoshi, I did say, I believe, 2 years ago that he can see, that he can see ending it at the late, at the earliest, at the end of the year, or a bit into the next year. And although I think the years have been different, like I think he meant 2023 for when the series could end, or when he made those comments. But it seems like it's gotta either be at the end of 2024, or it's gonna be at the end or at the end of next year. There's also some people said that your coach is gonna push My Academia until it's like 10 years old, which I think is in July, but I'm not entirely certain when it came out, when the first chapter came out. But regardless, that's generally I feel like the story's gonna be going a bit longer than I was kind of expecting, but we have to see on this story. Like again, like I'm not surprised that My Academia has a longer epilogue arc. Well, one thing people don't really like when epilogues are very short. Like just ask the Bleach community, they are not a fans of their epilogue. And then we just have and My Academia has always kind of focused and developed these things a bit more. It might not have been the thing that people like the most in the West, but it is something that's been in MHA for a while, so I'm not surprised there's more flashing out of it. So, yeah, that's the first chapter of the epilogue arc, and we still have a few chapters to go through. It's still gonna be a while. Which also, I'm kind of surprised, which it is kind of weird to think that in a few months we're probably going to be ending another one of the big name anime and manga series. Since, like after My Academia leaves, and Jujutsu Kaisen is also, I think, I mean, there's gonna be a hiatus now from what I heard of, so it's gonna be some time before new chapters come out, but Jujutsu Kaisen is also close to its ending. And then we have, like, after those two leave, I think the only ones that are left are uh, Black Clover and One Piece. I mean, I guess you could also count Boruto, but Boruto is more of a bi-weekly series, and I don't think it has the same hype as Naruto has. I mean, even if the Wiz Media app does put it high, so it's not like it's gonna really be the same thing as not My Academia, Jujutsu Kaisen, or those series. Black Clover is just taking forever for it to really come out, and even the conclusion, I don't really know how far we are from it. Like One Piece, basically, in a couple of months, One Piece is going to be its own thing. It's gonna be its own. It's again going to be on its own from any kind of other series. I mean, consider how short a lot of series in Shonen Jump are right now. I'm kind of getting the vibes of possibly not having a replacement for it. But regardless, with that out of the way, let's get into With that out of the way, let's get into Four Nights of the Apocalypse, chapter 151, titled "Not at All a Tragedy." Kind of feels like I'm making fun of the fans here there, but what can you do, I suppose? But anyways, we start this chapter off with seeing how much of an effect that the Spirit had and Waldane, and we see that she completely got it. Like, and when I say got it, I mean like cut like her organs literally split out of her body, and all of her clothing underneath her armor got incinerated. Like at the end of the chapter, we see that she has like nothing in underneath her armor left, and next chapter as well. Like fan servicey and horrific about how much damage she got from that. But anyways, after we get to see how much damage the Wolden got, we have Nauseans using his medical skills on his family to heal them. Fix their limb, or fix their holes in their bodies, give a temporary cure for Miltre so he could go and recover the pill so he will be able to, get healthy again. And all that type of stuff, they're good. Oh, we've done it. We pulled through as a family together, and we get like a little, those classic little jokes about like Captain Pig. We are in so much pain. Why are you so happy? As Nana just tells them that I just kind of want to end the whole thing. Prioritizing your lives over how much pain you're gonna be in. And after that whole little funny reaction, we have Sixes mentioning, man, I thought I was gonna be the next Fairy King, but I guess it's you, big brother. It's undeniable at this point. As Nas is a bit confused by this, as he wonders what the hell he's talking about. As King explains to him that, the Sacred Tree chose you as its wielder, so you are the next Fairy King, because I guess that's how they decide who is the king, by whoever gets the Spirit Bear, although I think Spirit Bear is a relatively new thing for the Fairy Force, but I guess maybe the Sacred Tree giving your power is what decides who's the next Fairy King. But regardless, Nauseans, and then we had like the cow back. Oh, we are so happy that that Nauseans is joining the family and all, but Nausean just tells them, no, I'm not your big brother. Melchi over here is your big brother. And all that. While in reality, Nausean is very happy about his family. Like, he's happy these are his family members. Like, he doesn't want... Like, it's kind of a weird thing where he acknowledges that his family is the doctor that raised them, the pharmacist that raised them, and the giant sister. But and that's what he tells them. They are his family. You guys, like, he likes you guys, and he's fine being friends with you all. But he's not. It's not the same. But that doesn't mean that he'll be a part of the family. Although he does like them, and that's something the King of Sixes read from his mind. That, like, they read that he's very happy about them all. And it's not like he doesn't like, it's just one of those things where I was raised by them as my family for the longest time. It would be kind of weird if I just suddenly, we're now family because we don't dislike each other, kind of deal. Like, I like them as people, but as family, that's kind of not really going for. And I kind of do wonder if this means there's gonna be like a different way to deal with the next Fairy King situation, since if Nonsense doesn't want to be king, then maybe Nonsense would become king. Because again, like, I don't think there's any issue with maybe, who knows, maybe even Miltre is gonna become king now, because if Nonsense is the rightful lead, but if he wants to give his position to Miltre, he might as well become also the king. So yeah. Anyways, then afterwards, they kind of react to King's new form, as they're like, well, considering the fact that it's a spell, a curse that requires the user to give his life, I kind of doubt it's gonna be an easy fix. So perhaps we should. So perhaps we will have to find a way to cure it. I think the Drug of Yore was probably destroyed with that night, so it's practically, so I'm guessing that's out of the way. Maybe I'm going to have to be stuck waiting some time before it will work, till the Drug of Yore refills or something. But Nausean just says, oh, Hendrickson, maybe he knows how to cure it. I mean, he's a very talented pharmacist, because not because Nausean has a way more favorable opinion on Hendrickson and far more competent opinion on Hendrickson than King does, and I'm pretty sure that King doesn't think that Hendrickson would be able to, and probably still holds some grudges for what he did in season 1. But anyways, Nausean wants to just go into Leonis and go get him to ask him about it to see if he can cure it. But as he leaves, he gets shot through his chest. And we see that Walden is back on her feet. As she's like, oh, I plan on giving you guys slow downs, but I guess I'm just going to have to give you a bit more of a savage beating as he starts shooting at Nazi and spraying him with holes. As in the rest of the family goes in to strike her, but she easily, like, now that she doesn't have that poison in her, she's easily able to, like, shoot all of them. So all the kids, Deanne, King, everyone gets shot on. I reckon they all get shot in their chest areas. I mean, I know she was going for their hearts, but it kind of looks like she was shooting in their boobs, honestly. And honestly, this is kind of a pathetic takedown for Deanne, considering the fact she got like one shot as much as the rest of the family did, and it should really make sense, but whatever. It's for the story, it's for the plot. As Walden reveals, the reason why she's still standing is the fact that she took the drug of yore before, after the attack, to gamble to see if she could handle it, which, because of the fact that her organs were out of it really speaks to how powerful the drug of yore is. No wonder the author wanted her to have. As then Walden also reveals that she did have a trump card up her sleeve, but she wanted to gamble with the drug of yore to see the details exactly. So there's like one of those times where you want to keep the hype for the villain, but you also don't want to reveal the trump cards yet. So I kind of do understand why they went with the drug of yore option, but still, I do kind of have to wonder what that trump card that she's speaking of is. But anyways, now that she is at fully recovered and has shot everyone down and sees the Nazis is still alive, she decides, all right, there's a little bit of the drug of your left, but before I go, I will just send you all off as a family. As she goes to blast Nazis again, who's already filled with holes, and she's like, you're gonna die. But as she's about to fire, we have someone appearing and healing Nazians in his time of despair, as he's thinking about how he failed Percival, and now Percival responds to his thoughts and tells him, no, you don't have to feel sorry about Nazians because I was the selfish one. As Percival is here, as he woken up, I guess after he healed Nazians, he went to his body and help him and regain consciousness and movement as he's there, and he's kind of clutching Nazians to him as you do with your girlfriends in anime. As he tells him this time he's not leaving, this is gonna be like their final time together. Like, let him fight for you one last time. As Percival shows up as Walden's a bit confused about who he is as he's there and is ready to confront Walden. Now, a few pages of the next chapter have already come out, so I'm not gonna speculate what's going to happen next. But needless to say is, it's either going to be for Walden being stupid for the plot to show off how powerful Percival is, or she's immediately going to run away for information. But for that, no, we don't really know any. We don't really know on all that stuff for now. So yeah. Anyways, now we go to one of the series that got 2 chapters out this week, and that's Eden Zero. Well, these 2 weeks, and that's Eden Zero, chapter 289, titled Recreation. And consider how much these two kind of go hand in hand, I'm just gonna give you the next chapter as well. Eden Zero, chapter 290, titled The Girl Who Ate Through Time. So yeah. So we start this chapter off by having the chronophage eat mother, and after it consuming mother, it disappears. It'll come back later. As we didn't have the reveal that yes, the plan worked. Like the chronophage Shiki was not too late. He managed to turn mother back to being Earth, as well as turn Xiome back to being the moon, like something that some people are theorizing that she is the moon. So yeah, both Mon and Xiome are now back to being what they used to be. But before and after that whole destruction, all that, as well as like the baby chronophage is also disappearing, we didn't have it stated by some of the characters, like some of the other, Interstellar and all those guys being like, well, it looks like all of the ships from Eden's 1 have also been destroyed by other chronophages, so everything is solved. Except not really, because the characters at the end realized that Shiki has disappeared, because after he sent chronophage through Mother, chronophage to Mother, he has not come back or reported or anything. And finally, now we actually don't get an answer to where he went in this like brief time period, because then we cut to 200 years in the future, or 2000 years later, after this little fight, or more likely Universe 1, no, Universe 2? I don't know, one universe, and 2000 years later, as we first get also like the thread is chapter 229 started first by having every information. Or we do kind of a little bit of a weird shifting here, because 290, we end chapter 289 with kind to the future, but then we start 290 back in the present with everyone's immediate reactions to Shiki disappearing, of being back and all that. But as they're all there is like a weird reading coming of Rebecca, as the ship that she's being in kind of blows up, as Rebecca kind of starts getting consumed by that, the things that the way how chronophage has always been drawn as we then finally get back to the future the way we left it off, with us getting the explanation. Like, we first start with the timeline kind of page, where we have what this is taking place when Shiki first saw, when Ziggy saw Rebecca in state, and he's like, oh, wait, let me help you, Rebecca, as the other doctors are like, wait, calm down, quickly shut him down so he can come to more reasonable mindsets, he's losing it. Because, they view her as a valuable test subject. So now we see that after that whole thing, and also the goodbye that Ziggy gave to Rebecca, be like, I don't know who you are, I was told that you are my friend, but outside of that, I can't really do anything. So, goodbye. I hope I'll get to find out who you are at some point. And he leaves. As Rebecca, I guess it's like she was in this like weird state where her body and everything is comatose, but she is somewhat conscious and aware of what's going on. Because we cut to her in her mind state, she's like, wait, Shiki, help me, don't leave me. As when Rebecca is saying that, her power starts to react to it, as then the chronophage energy comes out of her, and that's referring to that whole like anomaly that attacked Ziggy when he traveled back in time, causing him to lose memory and all that. I feel like this is something that's been speculated by a lot of people, but it is now confirmed that the chronophage and Rebecca are the same person, which is something that I feel like a lot of us will kind of expecting and thinking to ourselves that this was going to be real, and no, it's kind of confirming that this is chronophage. So it's kind of funny how both chronophage and Ziggy have like the same thing, when they're like the same, like they don't appear much and haven't really been like the most focused, but they are somehow like been throughout the entire story. So it's kind of ironic, but regardless, we have the Rebecca using her powers to time travel back in time as the chronophage entity. As we find out that the chronophage, as she appears in present, is very hungry. So the reason why she started consuming planets is because she was hungry, and she ate the time of the planets, and how chronophage turns things back in time, and she kind of went around. Which now makes me think that Rebecca was pregnant during that time period. I guess that universe's Rebecca and Shiki got a little bit extreme, and that hunger that for the child has sort of taken was kind of the predominant factor, and she kind of needed to eat it. So I guess those things, those baby chronophages may have actually been like the cells that were supposed to form Void's body or something. As the chronophage now just travels and eats everything in hope of return time, as then the chronophage entity power converges and kind of fuses the two Rebeccas into one being and takes over the current time period to Rebecca. As she now continues the plan to make the Big Bang, as she's immersing all the power, immersing the power to be ready. I guess she didn't take them. Like, Chronophage is not where the body she took over is the Rebecca, her real body, but she still doesn't seem to have the memories, or at the very least the mind that Rebecca has. But regardless of that, as the captain says, O'Shea, what are we gonna do? We have Shiki showing up as he apologizes to Rebecca. I'm sorry that I didn't recognize you as a chronophage being, but he's here to save the day and bring her back. So I think this is I have 3 more chapters remaining, so I'm guessing the next chapter is gonna solve the issue, and then the next 2 are gonna be the epilogues for the story. But yeah, that's kind of thing. I mean, this is all like very good to know and find out. It's nice kind of payoff for this. And this has been built up throughout the story. It's just kind of a weird thing because we know how much is left to the story, and we kind of like a lot of the big things have been kind of like dropping the ending kind of things. It's just like we are finally just getting the reveal of this information, and it's been very slowly built up, and now it's kind of all just being dropped. Especially since I don't think Chronophage has ever had like direct implications to be Rebecca until like literally in Uziki and Shiki entered her body. So it's kind of a weird thing. Like, I mean, there was some theories about there being a connection, but I don't think it was specifically said it wasn't just general connection. But regardless of that, how well you consider the story to be handled with Rebecca, Chronophage, Ziggy, and his whole weird family, time travel family? Because now we get to Fairy Tale 100 Years Quest. Chapter 160, titled Cats Are Wizards Too. So, yeah, if that's not showing how quickly Garage is gonna be defeated, then I don't know what will. So, anyways, we start this chapter off a bit with Gray fighting Kian, as there's like a little ice blade ship, and also Gray being a bit like weirded out by the dark ears and all that, as Kian does give us a few information about him that we got from that rock, as they have a little fights. As then we also have Lucy and Wendy fighting the mascot characters from Rave Master, as they're not being defeated by them. I mean, a hard time, but it's like they're not really doing much. They're just kind of blowing feathers off of the weird sunflower. Rebecca trying to she's trying to rip like the mascot thing apart, which make your jokes about it as you will, and yeah, they're not being overwhelmed by them, but they're more annoyed by them. But they don't really matter much, because then we get like a bit of an explanation about what's going on. As Caroline Happy talk with the shopkeeper, and Rush talks about his magic up here, as he reveals how his magic works. It's kind of like, he'll trap you in an illusion or fire magic, and then he will, the longer you're in that illusion, the harder and harder the things get, and he burn you a hole. I don't know if it becomes necessarily harder, but it is implied that you just get burned to a cinder the longer you're in his illusions, which you can apparently tell because when the characters are fighting them, their attacks in the body of those people, of mascots and Hien, feel like very hot, like they're fighting fire, so they're kind of aware of it, but not entirely sure what to do against it. And not the shopkeeper, the bartender is kind of like, yeah, that's Rosh. He's a really nasty guy. That's Rosh's magic. It's kind of hopeless. They're doomed. They're doomed. Like, no one can get out of Rosh's illusion magics. But Garlet asks him, is there like a back door they could leave? Since, you know, if they go inside, they're probably just gonna get trapped in the illusions as well. And the bartender's like, yeah, sure, but what can you do? That's Raj, which, you know, it's supposed to hype up characters, showing how powerful it is. The fact that people in this village aren't really, like, going against the Fire and Flame, just aware, like, you know, they're aware if they try to do anything serious, they'll be fucked up. So it's kind of like, please, just don't be two evil bastards. Just let us live our lives normally. But like, it's raw. Like, the guy's an illusionist. Like, what the hell does this guy even going to do? Major, especially since the way how he gets the feed is like ridiculously easy. Like, I thought it was gonna be like at least some kind of, you know, some kind of conflict between him and Gray, but it's like literally just calling Happy, leaving through the back entrance, spreading wings, going to the air to find him, see the guy laughing and sitting on the rooftop there, very clearly the guy who's causing the flame, and complaining about, like, I think he's like talking about his mascot characters in the manga, doing a little bit of a joke about modern society, about how characters like these would not, well, namely the one that Lucy's fighting, would not be acceptable because everyone's too damn sensitive, which I would say he is right when it comes to that. Like, people are people, especially in the West, are really sensitive when it comes to like perverted human at this point. But anyways, Carla and Happy just fly towards him to kick him off the building, which kind of disperse the illusions a bit for Gray to notice Raj, as then he uses the attack that Hien was using, and then he just slices through Raj and freezes him over and beats him because it's illusions. Like, illusions don't unusually depicted with a lot of like build up strength. Which is kind of a weird thing because you'd think if you heavily rely on illusions, you will have to also heavily rely on physical combat when your illusions are discovered. So it's kind of a weird thing when you know them, think of, alright, if I don't have my illusions, I should at least be really proficient in straightforward combat. But to be fair, Raj is too much of a jokester, trickster by looks of things to actually be, you know, thinking about that kind of logic. So it doesn't really have much of a work. So he just gets beaten by Gray here, and also I'm not really surprised because, again, like, there's a far better Fire and Flame member for Gray to go up against in Raj. So Raj is just a quick defeat, get some information all of maybe. So it's kind of like there, like it was White versus Azrael were more interesting to see if they're gonna be a quick defeat or what's going to happen there than Raj, honestly. Like, if Raj was gonna be a fight, it was gonna be like one of those more force for the plot defeats kind of deal for Fairy Tail members. But regardless, for that right now, Raj got beaten. They probably gotta get some information off him. Maybe this is even gonna encourage people to give them more information out of the Fire Flame because they defeated one of their members really quickly and easily. So who knows? But anyways, we have Graydon telling everyone that they need to leave and meet up with Azra and Natsu. Don't even think that maybe Natsu got captured or something, which to be fair is in line with Fairy Tail members about how confident they are in their teammates. But before we have that, we have the fact that we have a little bit of fan service moment. We have Wendy and Lucy's clothes and Gray's clothes also being burnt to cinder. I'm guessing that Wendy just got her clothes burned just because it would be kind of weird if you had like not Gray and Lucy's clothes be burned, but Wendy didn't, even though she was in the same thing for as long as the others. Probably even longer, honestly. So yeah, we got a little bit of we get a bit of fan service between them being their clothes being burned to ash. Anyways, after Fairy Tail, we have One Piece chapter 1115 titled Pieces of Continent and One Piece chapter 1116 Inner Conflict, which seems to be more referring to Stuss's story than anything else, but whatever. So yeah. So yeah, we start this chapter. Well, we start the chapter off, and with these two chapters with Momo's reaction to the ancient weapons, as he kind of wants to say some stuff, but Kunemon comes up and says, "No, Momo, don't say anything." Probably because they're not entirely certain how these things work. So if, like, let's say if Momonosuke screams something about Pluton, then maybe some of the outsiders will hear, and then they'll come, and there'll be even more issues. And in general, you want to avoid it. That so Momonosuke stops him. As then we have Vegapunk starting to talk a bit about the ancient war and the fight, and I was not entirely certain who is the ally, who was the good guy. Was there even a good guy there? Because because the ancient kingdom was super advanced and the others were the allied nations. But the ancient weapons seem very likely from what he read to have been like kept in the world because of Joy Boy. Like he wanted the weapons to remain. So it's like, was there some other purpose behind that, or did he just want his descendants to use them again? So, anyways, as we have that, we didn't have the world like again kind of being reacting to it, be like, like that's the thing is that while I'm happy that we get all these cameos and we get the world's some of the characters' thoughts on this. The thing is, a lot of these characters don't really bring anything new to the table. Like Momonosuke, there's some information that characters are aware of. Like Momonosuke knows about Joy Boy, which is something I forgot to mention. Like he does know. Momonosuke is aware of Joy Boy. It's because he read about him and knows about him. But most other but it's not like we get any kind of substance. It just means that there is people who are aware of it, but there are people who are not really aware of what's going on. So most of them are like, that whole wait, wasn't it like wait a minute, if this is a pre-recording, and judging by the footage, it seems to have been pre-recording a couple before yesterday, or before today, so so that means that he guessed correctly, or some people were just like, what nonsense is he talking about? Actually, I don't even think that panel has a different character. I think that panel is literally just the same. And like there's again, it's more just cameos in this one. Like you have the fake straw hat pirates coming up here, although they're pretending to be fake kid pirates. We have Foxy of all characters appearing, who I guess after the fight after the conflict with Straw Hats in long run just kind of went downhill, because right now it seems to be just him and his the two of his main members starving on a small boat. But it's kind of funny, since I think in the way they ended the conflict with Foxy was them saying that he'll get revenge on the Straw Hats, getting the flag back, but now it's like they're not even a proper pirate ship anymore, which I guess maybe some actual like conflict pirates kind of showed up. Makes me kind of wonder why the Blackbeard pirate is gonna go get him his death fruits, and apparently he's still being a pirate that's still out there. But whatever, we'll see on that front side. Like maybe someone's going to ask Oda, "Hey Oda, why doesn't Blackbeard go after Foxy since his death fruit is so powerful?" or something like that. Because I think this is like one of those times where powerful death fruit is given to a buffoonish character. But regardless, we get stuff like that. Then we cut to Stussy, who is being told by Essen to leave, but Stussy is kind of conflicted about leaving, because the thing is that she doesn't think that her life has value because she's a clone, which is something that was mentioned about Kuma's flashback. Like, what is the personality? What does the will of a clone really matter? What do its feelings matter? And Stussy now kind of wonders, Vegapunk is dead. Why would I have to, if I die, does it really matter? So, Stuss's kind of conflict about that, as then, we end this whole thing in the next chapter, where we get, like, kind of, ending to this little subplot, which is mostly just to relegate again the fact that people, about the fact that no matter how much you do it, like the free will of beings will always prevail, kind of deal. As then we have the Gosei, again, who's reaction again reacting, but this time it's more supposed to just show them off how furious and oh shit, we need to hurry, we need to stop joking around, we need to hurry, get the information, destroy everything that could possibly have the snail. As we have the also being very focused on getting rid of the conflict. As then as they are go rampaging to destroy all the snails and the transmission information, we have basically roll credits from Vegapunk as he states that the ancient kingdom, the war, the land, and the land that's been there beforehand is actually the pieces of that continent still are underwater. They are still there. As we get like a little panel, a shot. Oh, not a little. We get like a double page spread of like one of the pieces that's under there. Not certain way. This is. I think it's just supposed to be a generic like something to show that the ancient continent is still there. As we have the revolutionaries kind of reacting to it, as Dragon's like just kind of stunned. So you're revealing everything. Not sure that this means that Dragon was informed of this beforehand by Shaka, or if this is also new information, you're just taking it more in a continue. It's kind of like a similar reaction to like Sakazuki in the next chapter, where it's kind of hard to tell what kind of reaction does the character have. Does he want to learn more? Is he approving? Is he questioning if it was really a good idea? He's not entirely certain. Like, it's kind of hard to say what their interpretations are off of this until we like get their thoughts. As then Vegapunk also stated that this is all like how old the ancient continent is, like 200 meters below the sea. So I'm guessing he's giving people the general time distance so they can kind of investigate and check for themselves. Because as we're gonna see in the next chapter, there are gonna be certain characters who are gonna be a bit more curious about stuff. Like, I'm assuming this means if someone has a fishman on their crew, they can now go check underwater to see if there is indeed like ancient ruins, ancient rubble. If someone has a submarine, they can now go and check to confirm, alright, is there an ancient civilization, ancient buildings, and all that type of stuff 200 meters below the sea? I imagine the fishmen will also go and check to be like, we gotta ignore that first, but there really are all of these ruins here all over the place. So I'm guessing he's giving information like that so it'll be easier for characters to confirm. It's kind of like the same thing as like the seawater rising thing, where it's like, alright, this is my evidence. You can confirm it, interpret it how you want. So now he's again giving characters this so they can confirm if they want. Not entirely certain how many people can actually confirm this information, but some who can will be able to check now. Anyways, then we get to like a big information drop leak, something that's gonna be have a lot bit of an impact on a low perspective, as Vegapunk ends the chapter by stating that the war between the two kingdoms, the two sides, hasn't ended. This conflict is still present to this day. It's basically meant to be taken. It's more been put on a back pedal. It's kind of like a certain. I kind of want to get a Star Wars reference here with like the war between the rebellion and the empire has been for a long time, for quite a few years, but the rebellion could really do like big moves. So it's like very small moves in a lot of the TV shows and like after the original three movies, like there was been a lot more like small conflicts, but nothing major. So it's kind of a similar thing here with the world government, where the war technically hasn't really ended because the weapons, the big things are still at play. The side, like the people who still carry on the Joy Boys will and the Ancient Kingdoms will still are present and are still causing conflict, still causing turmoil and stuff like this throughout the world, as we also have Emo kind of seems to be aware of this because we cut to Emo. Well, we don't get an image of Emo, we just have a close up of Emo's eyes, be like, too much information. Too much information is being leaked. So, yeah. And all of this is, I think, just supposed to be like more of a connecting piece with the next chapter because we start the next chapter off. I don't think it's like the first page of the next chapter, but it's pretty early on in the chapter where we have Emo going to a picture that he has of a certain woman. A lot of people are saying it's most likely Lily, Nefertari Lily, because the resemblance to Vivi, although it could just be a coincidence. Because One Piece does have very similar designs when it comes to characters. Some people also mentioned of a woman that was in that like Saint Brass or something ship that we had during the uh before the Skypiea arc, because like it was because like the pictures kind of look similar. Like they're different people. Like I think the hairstyle is a bit more long and flowy, while that one was a bit like more curly. Or the way it's like the answer was a little bit more curly. Like it's not the same picture, but there is like a similar kind of style picture in Im's room. So is that going to have like a connection piece? Because how Oda kind of like at this point could probably make a drinking game for every Skypiea reference, for every single thing that happened in the Skypiea saga that is now being getting a payoff now. Like you would die in a span of a couple of chapters just from ACAT alone, not even counting Wano. So yeah, you can. So maybe that's gotta be a connection piece as well. I don't know. We have to wait and see. Well, that and the fact that apparently they didn't have like much of a payoff in the Skypiea arc, so it's kind of a question what's going to happen. But regardless, we have Emu looking at Lily. We have no idea if this means that Emu loved Lily, or if he viewed her like a constant reminder of the mistake and the thing that he left happened. I don't know. He just looks at, well, Emo might be a woman. Well, Emo just looks at the picture of what I'm assuming is Lily as he's getting all that information off. Where he's probably like just, someone is getting punished after this. Someone is losing a hat. As then we cut to Alabasta, which again is supposed to kind of leak the connection between Lily and Emo, because we have a focus where everyone's like making missing posters for Lily. Everyone is making, paying Cobra his respects. Like our king has fallen. Generally everyone's very negative about it. Like because like while the sound of the world's like, yes, revolutionaries kill one of the kings who's connected to the Slasher Dragons. Yay! You have a kingdom who's like, we lost our monarch. We liked our monarch. Why would we be like? It's horrible. And so yeah, like we don't have the like. Honestly, it's kind of show. I'm kind of wondering if Alabasta is even listening to Vegapunk's message, because it seems like they're more focused on making the funeral for Cobra and making missing posters for Lily than for Vivi than Vegapunk. But I don't know, maybe someone in Alabasta is focused on that. Or what the heck is the greatest scientist in the world talking about? So yeah, anyways, after that, we then cut to Vegapunk, who reveals his involvement to the people about all this water rising catastrophe. He's like apologizes because he's the one who brought the Mother Flame back, which is the very most which is definitely the power source that was used on the Lucia Kingdom. On the weapon that was used on the Lucia Kingdom. As then we cut away from Vegapunk for a bit after the apology. Well, actually, Vegapunk first reveals to us that he created Mother Flame, but the piece of Mother Flame was stolen, and he can put the two pieces together. Like, piece of Mother Flame was stolen. An ancient weapon needs an extremely powerful power source. This is the closest power source that could possibly come from us. So it's very obvious that he's like, I was the one who made the power source for the ancient weapon that caused this incident to begin with. After that, he was apologizing, and yeah. So after that, we then cut back to Stussy and Asen, where they end the whole little talk with Stussy, and what Asen told her that she's a person. She should have a desire to live as much as the next one. As Stussy kind of like says, "Fine, I'll do what you tell me, Addison." But before Addison dies as well, because Addison does feel like he's going to die soon. As Stussy asks Addison, "But one thing, can I free Kaku before I go, before I leave?" As I was like, "Oh yeah, right. We asked you to betray people who you probably viewed as friends. Of course you can. I mean, I hope he doesn't get in the way, but." To it would be, but if you want to free them, you can, like, if you care about them, like, we are sorry that we didn't consider your feelings on the man at all. So yeah, we have that. So Stu's is gonna free Kaku, and he's probably gonna be like, you know what, I think it's best we just leave. Like, as far as he's concerned, like, the whole thing is kind of over anyways. But anyways, then we got to the world's reaction to Vegapunk revealing that the Lucia Kingdom was destroyed by the ancient weapon that used most likely Mala Flame on it. And then we have King, the Boxing King, the one that we saw in Dressrosa. As like, wait, Lucia was destroyed? Someone sent someone to make check to see what happened with Lucia. Confirm that information as sent, because that is something that would be able to be confirmed. Like, we made joke about how Lucia has been completely destroyed by the world government, and all that, and all, like, it no longer exists. But logically speaking, all you have to do is not reveal that Lucia. Like, all you have to do is block a few people who are connected directly to Lucia. And then leave the kingdom. Tell them to keep their mouth shut, and then during the next reverie, either replace them with a different kingdom, or just have someone say, "Oh yeah, the Lucia kingdom is not appearing because they kind of got thrown out of the royal government because they couldn't pay the tribute, because they were always kind of struggling when it came to the tribute." So, anyways, like, it doesn't really matter much from that perspective, and so it's easier to cover it up, and not because they are aware of Lucia being destroyed. It's like, well, go check it. Like, go confirm it. I mean, we know where Lucia is, just because. Check to make sure that it has been destroyed. Like, again, it's like one of those things when you can check and confirm is what Vegapunk is saying true. So they have that to go off of about. So again, all characters are just kind of reacting to the people. Don't just react to the ancient weapons still being wrong and causing conflict and chaos, and being concerned about it, about what's going to happen with it. As then we have also Marine's reaction to the ancient weapons, as we have Sengoku shoving down crackers down his throat. As just like, would you stop shoving it so much to your throat? You're gonna kill yourself from it, or choking on it. As Sengoku tells him, "Well, how else am I supposed to react to it? This is information that should be leaked. For crying out, only I know about this information in Sengoku and Sakazuke. That's actually the reason why I'm still here, for crying out." As Akano has also not like a similar reaction, but unlike Sakazuki, Sengoku, who's like shoving down crackers, Sakazuki is more like, so you're telling them everything, huh, Vegapunk?" As he said, like, lava come off his cigar and off his hands, like, "Yes, this is gonna be a headache." Again, we can't really tell what side Akano has, or how he's gonna react to it. Is he gonna go against the world? Is he against it? We don't really know. But anyways, then we got to York, who's like being a bitch, let's be honest, to ourselves, as she reveals or confirms to us that she was the one who stole the Mother Flame, and she's also the one that, and now she's trying to figure out, oh my god, you're revealing too much, I have to think this through. Alright, think. Alright, think. Alright, so Vegapunk knows about this information. He's a horrible liar, meaning he didn't know about me being the one who stole it. So he also kind of will rationalize. She's trying to rationalize all the information. So he knew someone stole my flame. He didn't know who because he's a bad liar. He couldn't get it from me because I blocked my mindscape, which was what he did as well to keep from learning about this. Alright, think about it. So he found out about stuff that he couldn't have found out. Chronologically, he couldn't confirm some of this information. The date that he's currently giving information off is, I think it's yesterday, or I think it is I think it is the day before the whole Straw Hats got there. So clearly he couldn't have recorded this so much in advance. So he also couldn't. So the time frame is generally a few hours before the Straw Hats came. That's the only chronological period that makes sense. It also can be the beginning of the. So that's the only time period that actually makes sense for him to make the video. So where was he during those 2 hours? As she puts pieces together, she realizes the Iron Giant that he was messing with at the beginning of the Anchor Dock. That's the only logical place that he could be. It's a weird place for him to be in. Well, he's alone, and he was stuck there. So that could be the only option. As she calls the ghost side and informs them, I know where Vegapunk is. He's in the Iron Giant. That's the only place he could be. As the ghost side are kind of questioning about it, like, are you certain it's the Iron Giant, woman? Like, you're getting punishments after this anyways, but are you 100% certain? As York tells him, yes, because I'm on Vegapunk as well, so I'm kind of again questioning if. Like, I could honestly see the York being correct about it being in the Iron Giant, because it does make the most amount of sense, and some people are theorizing about it. Like, we don't have a confirmation yet, but I could see that being the situation. Plus, I feel like the Iron Giant's kind of a little too big of a low thing to be kept remaining. So I do think if it is going to be destroyed, it's going to be where the information is going to be blocked. Especially since, like, again, like, I don't know how much Oda wants to exactly reveal everything. Although it could be like a thing where the information is entirely leaked, or Vegapunk just ends it if the ghosts do have a hard time destroying the giant. But anyways, we're gonna have to wait and see. But anyways, then we cut back to Vegapunk's ending speech as he states that the only people who know about this history, about this information, are pirates, aka Roger Pirates. So I now shame you guys for why have you kept this a secret? Why haven't you revealed this? And some people are like, why did the fuck do pirates not know more about this information than the rest of us? So yeah, as then we cut to the Rayleigh, who's the only Roger pirate who we actually know of. We have a few others, but he's like the most well-informed Roger pirate out there right now. As So really is the one we get a little bit of focus off, as we see that he's back in Sabarondi. I guess he didn't decide to stay on the Amazon Lily, since I do think we've seen Amazon Lily characters a few chapters back, and they were on Amazon Lily. So I guess he just kind of went back home after the initial conflict. I guess. But anyways, we see him and Shocky back there, and now he's completely drunk. As Shocky tells him he's drunk too much. As Rayleigh explains to, he says to himself, but it's kind of like answering Vegapunk's question, because Vegapunk is really pissed off that they didn't say anything. They had all this information, all this knowledge, probably more than Vegapunk, and yet they kept it all hidden. As Rayleigh's like, God damn it, Vegapunk, you're spoiling it too much. This is a job for the younger generations to deal with. Let them have their adventure. Whoop, whoop, whoop. You know, when you actually think about what kind of adventure did they have? Because everything that destroys and everyone other part has to go on is way more vast than what the Roger Pirates have went on. When you actually really think about it. In fact, most of the things that Roger Pirates did have was just conflicts with the same pirate crews over and over and over again, and the same Marines over and over again, until in the last years of their lifespan they discovered the poneglyphs and all that, as they got the information and they kind of went to after when they found out that they, were too early. So it's not like they had very much of an adventure when you actually think about it. But regardless, really, this is something for the young generation to deal with as we end the chapter off on that. So, yeah, that's kind of the situation. So, yeah, that's kind of it on the reaction side of things. I guess I guess we gotta find out. So I guess again, it's like, well, like we don't, which, not gonna lie, this kind of an empty end of chapter reaction because like we kind of already know that. Like we know that Rayleigh already knows the answers to a lot of these questions. It's just that Shards don't want to hear this information because Luffy wants to go through the journey on his own. So it's kind of an empty reaction, really. When you look at a sense, it's just kind of confirming, just kind of giving us thoughts on how Rayleigh would react to the situation, which is kind of my issue when it comes to a lot of these like chapter reactions because they don't really give us much information or anything kind of new. It's just sort of like, oh, what? Wait, that is true. I think that is confirmed. It can be confirmed by this. You are talking nonsense. It's just kind of a lot of repeat information at this point, which would kind of feel bad. I mean, right now, I think get enough new information for it, but it's also kind of weird how we don't really get much information in general. So it's kind of like gray area when it comes to giving us information and the lack of information given in some cases. But whatever, I guess. But anyway, that's the end of the One Piece. Now we get to Chain Soldier, chapter 133, titled White Flag. Yeah, this is like one of those chapters where the chapter that comes from the end of the chapter, and we'll discuss it very much in detail. Which is actually more worth discussing than what happens for most of the chapter. So, anyways, we start this chapter off with Mia flying around, going through her strategy. Be like, so the main job is keeping Yuki safe and and coming back to the area. So what I'm going to do is just fly above most threats, because let's be honest, how many threats can there really be in the air? And then just going to the place and finding the gate and then going through it and surviving. As then we see Maya's strategy, the first part of Maya's strategy working, but unfortunately the second strategy does not work because when she finds the exit, she sees some, I'm guessing, hired gun with a leopard transformation ability there as this person destroys the gate. So now Mia's gonna have to wait for it to respawn. I guess the whole allowed to destroy the gate was kind of an extra thing to make it more difficult for Mia. So then Mia sees this, and as he spots this, then another like bird creature shows, another bird creature hybrid person shows up, but Mia is able to avoid this by like faking out away by making a hand that misses the creature, but then disappears her own hand, the one that's been carrying her and Yuki, for another hand to appear and slam the creature. So then she'll disappear. The other hand that she already sent out to pick them up as like a fake out, a risky fake out, but effective fake out. But as she was focused on this bird creature, the other tiger shows up to slash Yuki, but Yuki's able to avoid it instinctually, but that slashes off, well, actually, she says it's wind pressure that slices it off, but it slashes off her chest area, so they're all jiggly around. As then Mia just immediately, as soon as they're away from the danger zone, Mia just makes the hand and punches the creature, well, the person out of the way. As Mia, after getting like almost her own chance of succeeding this challenge, almost got destroyed, now realizes, so this is what the weakness that my mother was referring to. Like she's not that combat proficient. Like this was she had a good strategy to beat the giant bird, but then she kind of forgot that the fact there was another person there very close by, so that person could also participate and do something against her. So Mia is like, oh shit, oh shit, but but realizes her weakness and now uses a different strategy as she flies her and Yuki to that area where the portal was, and then she clenches her fist together and changes its form in an ultimate defense sort of way, as she and Yuki are kind of squished together now. Yeah, you know where this is heading. As then, as then we have the other ones that were also there showing up and starting to shoot at the hands that Maya has put herself and Yuki in together, but they can't really breach the hands because the hands are really strong and defensive. Like she explains, this form of the hands is like there is no offensive capabilities, but defensive capabilities are the highest. So now, essentially, all that Yuki and Mia have to do is wait, crush together in this while the hands are in this formation until the portal appears, and it's a win-win thing. It's like one of those things where it doesn't really matter. Like you don't really have to do anything. It's just like a matter of time. Like, all right, when is the portal appearing again? As they're squashed together. Fan service and Yuki finally getting a boner effect is activated. So Maya's strategy wins and she succeeds. So yeah. So after some time, because again, the strategy right now was like just a waiting game until the portal reappears. We just have to kind of cut away from it to Fubuki and the grandmother reacted to celebrating Mia's success. They're like, very good work, Maya. You definitely shown that you're still capable of. My word was kind of baseless. But Maya is being fair and says that no, I would have failed. It's just that Yuki is not capable of being a effective, helpless hostage. He's has too much of a battle sense. As Yuki tells her, "Oh, that's just because I've been around Kyoka a lot. Like most of it comes from her mind, her combat, her experience. So it's kind of like showing the growth is not up to the fact that, like in the beginning of the story, he was just a helpless civilian, but now he's just as battle ready as anyone else. So it's again supposed to be giving a bit more of an W for Yuki's improvements. Which again kind of makes me think like this is like the author tried to alright. Yuki is still supposed to be the main character here, so I should probably do some generic main character improving kind of shit because Yuki again is kind of like pushed to the side a lot of times when it comes to like general story. It's more like story beats that he still has to do, but outside of that, he doesn't really do much. But anyways, after that kind of admission, Fubuka kind of thinks about Kyoka. It's like, yeah, Kyoka really is a great captain. Which again kind of makes me think that this guy is supposed to be like a hint to a point of a lot of captains giving their votes to Kyoka, especially the ones who don't really care much to be the chief commander. Because like while Fubuki does want the Azuma family to be chief commanders, it does seem like she's one of the lesser going for it. It's kind of like the first captain. She doesn't really like her vice captain says, oh, she has potential to be commander in chief, but she herself doesn't really have the same drive. Azu wants to be commander in chief, but it's more of a harem thing than a actual position that she wants. So like some captains want to be in charge, but others kind of are like more indifferent to it. So Fubuka is more of an indifferent, in my opinion. But so I'm guessing this is supposed to be a hint to her voting for Kyoka. But anyways, after the whole main thing, because like I kind of thought it was not gonna be that long, we get to more story interesting things as we have Shikoku and Ran meeting up at the Squad 10 barracks. As Ran gives her like standard overconfident, under analyzing her opponent's personality, and she's like, "Oh, what a surprise that you're here! alone. All the other gods waiting. Well, tell them to come out here so I could slaughter them all. Because, yes, clearly that's the reaction you should be having towards the gods of thunder. Like, clearly being informed that two gods of thunder know diff the entire squad if there wasn't a time reversal ability doesn't matter. Clearly, you should go you can defeat all five of them, which I get is supposed to be overconfidence thing, and that's kind of above Ren's character, but this one's like really dumb. Especially once you remember that Shinoko is the one that should be waiting in wait and attack. Like, this isn't even like, oh, can you be that? But does power scaling make sense as much as it's like, why would the woman whose fighting style is very much deception and sneak attacks be the front one? Not the dragon lady, not some other shokai that you don't know of, but literally the one who seems to be proficient in sneaking around. As then we have Shikoku kind of like she's playing into Joanne's overconfidence, being like, wow, you really are scary. So I gave up, as referring to a white flag, as, like, it's over. Like, she surrenders, which even Rand kind of finds, huh? Really? Because Ren is overconfident all hell, but even she can call out some dumbass plan as sure as you can see it. So we end this chapter off with that, with Shinoko pulling out the white flag. Now, I'm not entirely certain if this is supposed to be like a what angle Shinoko is going with this, because it's like just Shinoko saying, "Oh, we surrender" kind of deal. So it's not exactly clear if she like. I don't think they even use the term how many of them are surrendering. It's just like we gave up kind of deal. So I don't know if this is supposed to be like a immediate attack, like a trick to get like Shinoku in there, because again, like Shinoku has like a teleportation ability, so her being too much in those facilities would be dangerous, because she could go, open portals to her place and bring all the other gods whenever she wants. Or if this is supposed to be like a new big play, or if this is supposed to be more serious, but it's kind of like similar to, maybe this is like a similar plan to the truce that the Megatron, the Predacons and Predacons and Maximals had in Beast Wars, where it was kind of like, we know there's a bigger threat, so let's have a truce between the two factions. So it's possible it's gonna make a similar thing with there, where they're not really in a truce, but not that there's a big faction. Well, not that they're both aware of the bigger threat here, but it's more like a let's wait and build our forces and power up before we start another conflict with one another. So I do kind of feel like that might be the thing here, where now Shinoku wants to, alright, we'll have a truce and we will develop a new god replace the missing gods of thunder, because like they lost almost half of their members, so maybe that's the reason why, which I could also see being the most likely because of the way how the writer has been going along with all these reveals. So I would not be surprised if it's something as simple as just truce so we can create the new gods and then we'll see how we move forward. Or if this is like supposed to be like a thing where it's like, oh, after after losing Ryren and Fukume, I got under bad side with Taikyo, and now I am on the run from her and the other gods of thunder. Or if this is gonna be like a thing where it's gonna be a serious thing. Again, it's kind of difficult to say where we are going for, but we can make a very good argument. In fact, I kind of even see this like, actually, I kind of feel like, okay, this is just some idea, but considering the fact that we have Ran, how overconfident and arrogant Ran is in her abilities, I could see her taking the truce in and thinking, oh, whatever the backstabbing they're gonna do, we know they're gonna do it, but let's play along for now so we can crush them in one fell swoop. Because I could honestly easily see them, Rand's idea, be like, oh, yes, we'll have a truce. Why don't you and the rest of your gods of thunder guys come here? Even though you can only know two of them for a fact are gods of thunder, the other three could be literally any random shokai and you would not be none the wiser. But regardless, you could have come there to this election they're gonna have, and they're gonna like make a big spectacle about them being defeated because that's kind of like what Iran said anyways. Like, oh, we will have the election and wipe down the eight gods of thunder in one clear strike, and now this is probably her idea of making it literal. Like, we'll not only get the election, but we'll wipe them all out during the election. Maybe she'll even make a competition, like, who can perform the best against the gods of thunder is gonna be a new commander-in-chief. I mean, I do question if Iran is so overconfident, so arrogant about her abilities that she would put, because from what I can understand, the election is going to have a lot of important figureheads there. So having them and the Gods of Thunder, all five of them, even with all the captains there, would be extremely dangerous for the officials. So I do really question if she would put them in risk. But I'm not entirely certain if she would do it. Although I would, and also I do kind of feel like, but I feel like we will go there with that because there's also like a few jokes you could be made about some of the eight gods of thunder, like the fact that Naruhime and Ryuko just seem to be wearing swimsuits, if we're being totally honest with ourselves. While everyone else is probably gonna have very professional attires, like even the other members of the Gods of Thunder are going to be more professionally dressed. So I could definitely see jokes coming from that. Not to mention Acer's reaction to the eight Gods of Thunder ladies. This especially, so I could see that us going down the lines of all of the Gods of Thunder in that like setting, and then all like the interactions and the story playing out before even the fight. So I could see that happening. It's just, would Ren really be so overconfident she would put their lives at risk? Because even if she she is right to call out this like BS, this is a fake truth, this is a backstabbing truth kind of deal. So it doesn't make sense, but I feel like she would do something like that. And I feel like Shinoko is aware of it because, like, the way she saw Ren was like, wow, this woman is really arrogant. I can even see, like, Shinoko being like, alright, this woman is this woman is clearly aware that I'm bullshitting her on this truce, but she's gonna play into it. Like, I could even see Ran, like, oh, by the way, we have this election in Shangri-La that we did, well, we plan on having it in Shangri-La because we didn't want to risk you guys causing trouble, but if you are interested in truce, why don't you come along with it? All the important officials are gonna be, we can make all the negotiations, all documents, all of that can be solved. Just all five of you remaining gods, come there, because this is a truce, right? So I could easily see, I could easily see Ran giving Shinoku everything on the platter, and they're like, wow, you're actually going to you actually want to wipe us out in the conference room with all of your important people. I mean, if you want, if you want, even by arrogant, even by us gods of thunder standards, people who call ourselves gods, you are next level arrogant. But we'll see on that front. Although I feel like a lot of other characters would call her out at this BS because I feel like everything about this plan, like if you describe this to a character, it's like I feel like Kyoko would be, are you fucking dumb? There is overconfidence, and then there is just stupidity, woman. A God of Thunder, however you feel like can go in a battle sense, are strong enough to a point they would put every one of them in risk. It does not matter if we beat them, we are putting every official in his life at risk. Because I doubt the writer is going down the Tobata route when he takes down like half the villain group, and then he's like, alright, time to completely forget about this villain group and introduce some other big bad. Like, I doubt the writer is going down this route with the Eight Gods of Thunder, so it's clear they're not just going to be one shot or easily no-diffed. Unless if it's gonna be like a reveal that Shinoku and Jakun made like copies of the Gods of Thunder just so they can be destroyed. So no one is gonna be none the wiser the Gods of Thunder just building their forces up back in the shadows again. Because now Captain is at least aware of the Eight Gods of Thunder. But anyways, we're gonna see that later. So anyways, with Chainsaw Soldier out of the way, it's time we talk about Chainsaw Man, chapter 167, titled Super Smooch. I would call this chapter something else, but I don't think that the writer of Chainsaw Man is allowed to put that to word in a chapter. Look at the next chapter having that word in it. So anyways, we have Euro and Denji in the corner as she looks around a bit as she finds like some kind of old fork that she uses her power to turn into a weapon and be like, hey, I found this knife, let's cut it off. So as Euro comes there and it's like, alright, put it out so I can cut it, Denji's kind of realizing what he was saying and what Euro is implying as Denji's like, wait, you actually taking it seriously? Like, you're actually planning on cutting it off? Like, I don't want it. I was just kind of like, depressed and, like, I wasn't being serious. It was just like one of that, like, emotional things. Like, you just won't blame everything. That, like, I wasn't being literal. As yours, like, she's having none of it. And it's like, no, if you have an issue with, no, if you think your sex drive is the problem and why you have such skewed priorities, then you're getting it off. As then you're like, don't take it off. Like, if you're not gonna do it willing, then I'm just gonna grab it myself and do it. And she goes for the pants and she grabs Danji. Yes, that's why she's holding him right now. As then Danji and Guy got into their argument. As then Yuro starts to slowly remember Wade. Like, she starts to remember I guess that being so close to Danji, she remembers that kiss that she had with Danji, or that Naruto erased from her mind, and she's like, wait, did we kiss? As then Danji and Yuro start kissing. How much consent there is probably at the 0 levels for Asa and Angie. Honestly, even Yuro may not actually be consenting as much as she's just obeying her urges. As the two of them start smooching deeply, much, extremely, as Yuro's hand is in Danji's pants through the whole process. And then we get a moment where Yuro and Danji stop as Yuro immediately goes away as Asa regains consciousness and she looks at Danji, who is, esteemed from the kiss, as she pulls her hand off. I don't think she actually has. I don't think Yuro still has the hand in Danji. I think, it's kind of weird. I think it's actually kept here until, like, I think it's like one of those shots where we don't see where the hand is. But regardless, Asa pulls her hand up and looks at her hand, and she sees it's covered with white creamy substance. And Asa realizes what she and Danji just did. Or at least what she just did for Danji. And yeah. That's one way to end this conflict. As we end the chapter off on that, because that's, I think, the shocking enough information to end. So, yeah. Asa just unintentionally gave Danji a hand job. I mean, I guess, something I found out is that actually Chainsaw Man is no longer a Shonen Jump app. It's just that, it's an actually more mature app, but, so technically they can do a lot more with stuff like this. I think it's probably like the same app that Tokyo Ghoul was or something. But, yeah. So, the reactions of this chapter were all over the place. And the reaction after this chapter, like what Asa and Danji and everyone's gonna do, hopefully we don't end up with some stupid tsundere thing where suddenly it's Danji's fault for Yuro taking over. Also, I kind of do want hope that Asa reveals that it was you wrong who did it, not her, but us at this point. I'm not entirely certain where the things are gonna go. Honestly, I could honestly just see this kind of going full out in the next chapter, but I don't know. We'll see how the reactions are gonna be for it next time. Chapters are gonna be spicy. So yeah. Anyways, with Chainsaw Man's weirdness out of the way, let's talk about something normal, like Ruri Dragon. I feel like there's something wrong with going with from the ending of Chainsaw Man's chapter to Ruri Dragon Ball series. Mangas can be choosers, I suppose. So, anyways, we have Ruri Dragon chapter 14 titled "I Wanna Learn About My Day." So, yeah, this is gonna be the talk between Ruri and My Day that we're gonna kind of get more of detailed. So, anyways, we start this chapter up, but the rest of the friends kind of getting ready for the gossip and the spying position. As they're like, for some reason, they're all hiding behind, like they all go below the. I don't think they go below the table. I don't think they even go to a different table to get closer. I mean, they're just literally like, oh, let's get down, as if they are actually doing anything with that. If anything, they're all revealing themselves with it, anyways, because now they're all crouching at the table, just like, oh, this is a threat. But anyways, Rui just sits down and talks and says, "Alright, let's just have casual, like she just kind of starts with a casual talk about stuff, like, yeah, so so we'll probably have her, being the artist, one being the one that should be in charge. So what do you think about the rest of the art from her as she that art girl? Should we so we'll probably have her be the selected, right? What do you think about the rest her art in fullness?" And the other man was like, "Yeah, it's fine, but the aesthetic was kind of already done, so we probably should do something differently. She doesn't really experiment too much with it. Like maybe it should be like a normal cat and a tiger or something, where to make it more unique." Includes in the art, do a little bit more to it, make it more unique. I mean, it's good art, but it's not unique enough. As then Rui goes into ask, so you are friends with what's her name? The one that she was introduced to, the one that was like the first one that got out of Yuri's is the one that was the new one to, well, the one that was kind of like bringing Yuri along in the friendship circles. And she was like, so, do you know much? As Mana reveals that the friendship is actually more one-sided, you would think it was. Because, she was just someone who was a lot very talkative, very clingy, very much of a people pleaser, and I don't really like her. Like, it was a lot more one-sided, like, it was very one-sided, which surprises, the girl, because she's like, I thought we were friends, I didn't know she was so against me or had so much problem. So, yeah, as they're like, wow, look who's talking now. As then they continue their little talk, as then she goes again into a bit more of a discussion why she didn't like Rui. As Rui wants to know, hey, so is there anything specifically you don't like about me? It's just, there are things you don't like about me. I guess I should probably, know about it so I don't repeat them too many times. It would probably not be enjoyable to work with someone who considers something that you didn't dislike. So first, Maida goes into things that she doesn't like about Ruri, which can at the best point be described as nitpicks. Like, and I'm not very weird nitpicks, because like for starters, she doesn't like her eyes, because the eyes always look angry or always look like they have a stink eye. Then she also talks about like the pupils, how they look dragon-like, as Ruri's like, wait, I have dragon-like pupils? As Matt's like, wait, you didn't even know your pupils are different shape now? As Rui asks, can I get a mirror? And Mara gives her the mirror. I was like, wow, you're right. I didn't even realize this. Which really makes you realize how little Rui, which really makes you realize how much Rui even looks at herself. Because one of the things that Maya first brought up was like, you care about people, but We're talking about a girl who's not even aware that her pupils changed shape after her dragon gene started activating. Do you really think a girl like that is gonna be exactly the most aware of people when she's not even aware of herself? Which does again, which I feel like this just kind of makes Mel look a lot worse than it's supposed to be. With the fact that this is the girl that she's saying that doesn't care about people. Not to mention, she also then starts shitting on Ruri for not remembering anyone's name. Like she literally needs to refer to them as like their characteristics, or the fact that she's always clinging to her old high school friend, where she's like, why are you a child? And she compares her friend what you act like she's your mother, which is how they make fun of the girl. But like, say, mom, she's really going to you as well. So yeah, as Rui is just kind of taking there, and she's like, as all that like insults and little sneak peeks the mother has about her, and Rui's like, all right, like I'm not gonna deny it. Like some of these are things I do agree. I don't remember, and some of these are really pathetic, honestly. I mean, again, like you guys start with the pupils for quite a lot. But anyways, while she takes her insults towards her, as Rui even asks, is this everything, or is there more that you want to give into it? But Mara doesn't really have much more to say about it, as Rui just says, alright, but one thing, riffing at my fan thing is inaccurate, or is not really logical, because I am the only one who has an issue. I'm the one who always clings with it. Like, she is fine. Like, she's not living in her world. She's not living only in this little world with only me. Like, she can talk with people. She can interact with people. Just because you think I am incapable of, which I do agree with you on that side, that doesn't mean that she is like me. It's just I guess you never real. I guess you just saw her with me all the time, and you thought, oh, she also has to be the same as me, but she's not. So there's kind of mine is kind of alright. I'll give you that. I should at least not consider her the same as you. As they end the conversation, as then we have the fans who were spying during the whole thing, kind of making small commentary about it, tripping up is like, well, I'm kind of surprised she went so full throttle with that. And finally, they don't actually make fun of make comments how like, wow, those are some really mean nitpicks that she has. But then we have the Rui's friend mentioning, yeah, well, she clearly has a bad idea of Yuri, a baseless idea of Yuri, because it's actually the other way around when it comes to not caring about people. As they go, all goes like, wait, what? What do you mean that she has the other way around? As the girl explains that, oh, Rui really cares about people's opinions and really cares about what people think. It's just like I'm the one who's uncaring towards other people. It's just that Rui has a hard time communicating with people. She's not really the type of person to jump jump in. She's kind of more shy like that. I am the one, I can interact with people easier, remember people's names easier, but when it comes to like personality, who literally doesn't care, it's I am the more accurate one to be described here. Ruri is just too shy for most people, so she just is too cowardly. So yeah, it's kind of like shows that Maida it doesn't like while she does have good points, there is some truth to her statement. It's kind of face first. Like she assumed that Ruri not remembering being as proof that she doesn't care, but it's more like Ruri just has a hard time remembering. Well, it's not specific that Ruri has a hard time remembering, but again, like not everyone can remember everyone's names, and it's showing more the fact that Ruri doesn't is more shy about that stuff. So, anyways, after the class and the dinner and breakfast already, we have Ruri and Maya kind of going to one of the activities together, and they seem to be getting along a little better about you know talking to each other and all that stuff, which hopefully this is gonna be a more progress, more about good, more of a character progression because again, Mana's Poe and Ruri here feel really stupid, but then ridiculous with some of the problems that she named in this chapter. But anyways, Ruri doesn't seem to mind that much, and does kind of want to get close. It does seem like she kind of got closer to Maida there because in the end she's like, "Oh, don't be like that." That she kind of like hit her on chest, be like, "Don't be like that, girl, Maida," as they seem to be on bad term now. So we'll see how much we're gonna focus on this bad term. We're gonna see more of a progression in the next couple of chapters. But again, we have to wait and see on exactly where things are gonna go for Red Dragon. Since it's kind of more of a slice of life series with more focus on girl like school stuff. So I do have to kind of question how much of a only of these things are gonna last for a long time. But anyways, after Red Dragon, we have That Rock Chapter 12, titled White Calamity. Or Asian dragons, more likely, because let's be honest, that is what most of these things are. So, anyways, we start this this chapter off with the class 1F reacting to the vice principal's transformation, or more, they're reacting to the battle stance that he's taken. As Rice, like, why the heck do we even have to be dragged into this? We don't want to be involved. But I guess we don't have to fight him because otherwise he's not going to let us go. As Bran grabs a tree and goes to slam them down, but the captain's able to easily deal with a tree and dodge and all that. So we then have also Choco going to her cute girl form, which the necromancer girl seems to be kind of, oh yeah, you're so cute in this form. Because which is honestly, Choco has a really weird personality when you think about it. Like first she comes off very shy, then she seems like she's trying to form into a more like serious and a more prominent, more commanding presence. But then you also have the fact that she's also very much a scaredy cat and kind of excited. Like it very much is like, I mean, it's a fitting personality trait for a character to have, especially in for a series, because like that's a lot of main characters kind of vibes. But it's kind of weird how Choco is being about that since it's supposed to be kind of like a very much more a mystery unknown kind of character. So it's kind of a weird thing where she's like getting that's just like very basic but protagonist, shonen protagonist kind of vibes here. But regardless, she's confident a bit more now, and she's gonna participate in the fight as we have her using a bit of her dark magic as Hani sense attacks and Frey sense her fire attack as well. But all of these attacks do nothing to Bran. They just sort of face like they just hit him, but they don't really affect anything. But the only thing they really do is destroy the tree that Bran was using to slam at them. But then Bran just uses his brings his fist stones, which are far more effective and far more damaging, and it just hits Choco and Honey down, which once again destroys Honey because Honey is really fucking fragile at this point. And Choco miraculously seems to just survive it. Like she seems to be like, it hurts so bad, which is kind of weird because how quickly how the Hiran got destroyed. Like remember, like when Bran showed up in the library, he immediately just bam that. But here you have him in his stronger form, destroying. Slamming down, while you can explain Hani not being destroyed because, well, not dying because it's relatively easy cracking his body. It's just that's not really gonna be enough. You have to completely atomize him to kill him, is my guess. But Choco seems to relatively handle the damage, so this kind of makes me think that it's not so much that she could. It's more of a display of power that I guess scared her. Maybe like if power scale wise, like maybe Yakuto and Choco, since I do believe Yakuto gets hit by and as well later on. like maybe the two of them can actually could handle a bit more of the power that Bren had. It's just that, the initial display of power kind of scared them. In a power scaling kind of match, it would be like Yakuto and here and Choco here while Heian was here, but Bren is here, so while he couldn't demolish as easily, Choco and Yakuto had to at least put more effort in it. The two of them could handle a little bit more of the damage, which again does kind of make sense. Choco, I do believe, is from the lowest floor of the underworld, but whatever. But anyways, as they're able to withstand the attack, we then have Rize and Necromancer and Yakuto go into a bit of fight where Rize also wants to bring Bran down with the whole old style. Aim for the legs; it will fall. It will fall down. The bigger they are, the harder they fall. But Bran just jumps up and is able to avoid the attack, which also he slams down and destroys, I believe, some of Necromancer's corpses that she's been using, and she's like, "Oh no, my sweet corpses!" As Yukito saves her just in time, which in my opinion does confirm that she couldn't handle it. No, the damage is just him, Chaco, who can handle some initial damages, and he can survive them. So then Elkuto has Ryza sending him in the air so he can like punch the Brand's eye, because oh my god, eye part should be weak, right? Like one-eyed Cyclops thing, that should be his weak joint, but he hits it with his Dragon Claw, but it does nothing to the eye, so he's kind of stuck, just falling down, as Brand has like this weird kind of, I want to say, out of character kind of thing where he's kind of starts to gloat about his overwhelming power, as he's like, "Oh, you think your students can defeat me? I am the vice principal. The teacher said, the teacher said, the teacher said." As the students are kind of confused on the teacher said. Well, most of them at least are confused because Milena, I believe that's her name, Milena, something Necromancer, is kind of like, the teacher said. So I'm assuming this is supposed to refer to something that we don't, to something later. Like maybe maybe it's gonna be revealed that like the school needs to be like completely destroyed by destroying the teacher, like the four main teachers. Like Brad is the hat, while the others are the arms and the torso or something. I'm not entirely certain, but that's kind of seems to me what I'm kind of getting the idea of, because he's referring to himself as the teaching hat. Or maybe like there's some other structure that has to be dealt with before um, they can destroy God or something. I don't really know. But anyways, in his insanity, Bran then grabs like the gate that was mentioned earlier in the last chapter to slam it down on the students, but this damaging on the gate managed to activate the gate itself, or releasing the seal that was placed on it, which activates the gate and releases the White Calamity Dragon, or that was being, I guess, sealed in that like little pocket space, and was probably like taken away, so the dragon would not be able to escape or something, or be used ever again. Which is something that Brent does recognize as, oh, that's the White Calamity of the 2007. And he does seem to be a bit shaken and scared by it. Not certain this is implying that he's weakened in this dragon, or if he's just aware of the damage this dragon can cause. So he's a bit like, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. As then we have revealed that Magumege, the ceiling witch that was introduced last chapter, is actually survived, and that corpse that they saw was actually a doppelganger of herself that she made. And she's like not really taken aback by all this, She's like, you damn whippersnappers! Look what you've done! You released the white calamity! How do you idiots plan on fixing this mess? You snap whippersnappers! As Choco was like, oh happy, enter Manga Senpai! So they're kind of surprised by it, as then Yukito is like, oh, I can use this. Oh, don't worry, Miss Magumage. We'll deal with this right away. As Yukito immediately jumps on the white dragon and starts climbing it, as Choco recognizes what he's trying to do, as Choco says, no, Yukito, if you do that, you're gonna die. Your curse will activate. Your curse is very dangerous. As Magumage before that screams like, what do you think you can do, boy? You're not a sinning wizard. You can't do shit about that. So it's revealed in this chapter that the way Yukito's roots work, at least a bit, is that the whole full dragon transformation isn't actually what he can do because of roots. It's something that he can do because of the curse. Like, he can take the form of the black dragon full transformation because of the curse. I'm guessing he absorbed the dragon because that's what he does with the white calamity. That's just a giant East-inspired Uryu, a white-colored dragon, and Yuki wants to absorb that. As he goes to the top of its head, starts absorbing the white dragon in himself. As he tells them, he doesn't care if he dies. He is using it. If he doesn't do it, he will probably die anyway. So he might as well use it. So he absorbs the white dragon into himself. As he then takes a form of a black dragon, or like the Logia design dragon, just covered in white, which Manga recognizes the white-black dragon combination from the legends or from the stories. As Yukito is now in that form, ready to fight Bran to, cause trouble, which I don't think Yokito is gonna die of the curse right now. I mean, even the way they speak about it's like, it's very likely that he's gonna die, but no, he's probably not going to die, so he's probably, they don't have to worry about it for now, at least. It's gonna be explained how he can survive later. Like, maybe Magumega, because she was revealed to be alive, has some kind of healing or some kind of sealing magic, and she'll put it on the curse, so he will not die. Like, maybe it's gonna be something like, she'll seal the dragon as well as the curse in Yukito better, or fix the the curse that he has on himself, so the dragon will not escape, as well as Yukito will not die, but he will not be able to get more dragons or something like this, like some kind of price to pay thing. But anyways, Yukito is in that transformation, and we'll see how things are gonna go, especially since he lost control last time he went to dragon form. So is he going to lose control again? Although granted, considering the fact that Joker has teleportation abilities, I feel like she could probably just teleport all of them away. But we'll see how this is gonna go between Bran and White Dragon Yukito. So yeah, that's the end of the chapter. All in all, pretty okay chapter, and does kind of seem to go back to some of the Mashima's problem when it comes to writing characters, with Magomege being revealed to be alive again, and maybe Yukito defeating Bran too quickly. But so far, we can't really say how things are gonna go because we just, it's just like one chapter. But anyways, now we can finally get to the final chapter of the 2 weeks that we've been, of the 2 weeks, being Reincarnated Coliseum, chapter 20, titled Pride of a Villain. It's so weird when some chapters in Reincarnated Coliseum take forever to come out, and the next chapters are just like at most 2 weeks apart. It's just kind of fine to think about it, but whatever. Anyways, we start this chapter with Luna and Musashi being on the run from some of the debt collectors that Luna mentioned previously, as they are kind of in hiding right now. Is they're like, damn it, where did those two go? We'll get our money one way or another from that brat. So, as Luna is kind of being scared now, she's kind of like wearing like rags, basically. As we get like a little inner thought process for Luna, as she remembers before I'm guessing Musashi got revived, who, by the way, Musashi is kind of surprised by how effective the revival is. for Reincarnated Coliseum because like, whoa, I was cut in half that, and now I'm back together and alive and fully capable of. Like my body is taking a little time to go back to its full physical peak, but outside of that, I'm fully well. But anyways, we have Luna asking Odysseus if she could, help her because she's kind of in trouble because she can't pay all her debts because, she put all of her money and everything to get those two and now she failed because that was her plan. It was kind of like all or nothing kind of deal. But this year's isn't going full bitch mode towards Luna, but this year's is like, well, you gambled. Well, guess what, Luna? My dear, I like you, so I'm gonna give you a piece of advice. I'm not gonna help you, mind you. I'm just going to give you because I'm assuming that she probably was scheming something. Like I'm assuming, like I don't think the outcome with Luna is really surprising. It was really surprising. And probably she probably did want the plan. It's just that it's one of those like very slow takeovers or something like that. So she's now again. So she just tells Luna that, well, you see, my dear, this is just the way how the world works. You gambled your money and you lost. So now you are nothing. Your business is slave trade. So your business backfire on you now. So it does not matter. But before that, I will give you if you no before you go into slums, I will give you one piece of advice that will to comfort you. Basically, it's like a villain such as yourself, you slave trading bastard child, is get born twice. Once when they're born, and once when they lose everything. And once they lose everything, they either die, they get eaten by stronger villains such as myself, or they grow and become better. So, if anything, this is your birthday, Luna. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Which makes me kind of think they might have an even darker information because, Luna is now wearing complete rags while she was previously wearing dress. It's not even like her dress is ruined. She says she just seems to be wearing like some kind of. She seems to be kind of wearing like a weird like cloak, garbage like kind of combination weird thing, like a complete thing. But anyways, basically, this was a bit mocky Luna, as Luna is like now very pissed off. Is like, oh no, I'm not weak. I'm not gonna lose this. I'm not gonna die. Alright, like, okay, I might have lost my money, my fortune, my everything, but I still have a pie, Musashi, and I still have one more thing. I still have the Devil's Mouth, which is a magic item which works in a way where it's like it works together with a Devil's Ear, which is a weird thing that Shetsuzu eat. So she'll be able to spy for 3 days of characters because Devil's Ear is kind of a similar thing to like food. Very similar to food, where it stays in your body for a few days, but then it completely goes. And during those 3 days, you're able to listen to everything. And it's kind of an immediate thing. It's kind of a very limited item when you actually think about it. Maybe getting Devil's Ear is a lot easier because otherwise I don't see why this item would be that difficult to get. Especially if it was so limited. Especially since apparently Luna got this item from a rival that she had. So I wonder this rival is gonna come back into play at some point. But regardless, she now wants to use this Devil's Ear to get the information on how to get back in Mikami and rise back again. I mean, if losing everything is what the villain's second birthday is, then she is gonna age. Then I guess now it's time to grow up, kind of deals. So the plan Luna has now is that she'll use Devil's Ear to get as much information she can get from Mikami, and to use that to like beat him or maybe sell. Well, the plan is to get information from Mikami and Musashi to explain to her some of the battle strategies because she's not really a battle focused individual. So she'll get some strategies from him. She'll get some strategies and then she'll sell that to everyone, to some of the next people who are going to try to get Zai's seat. So now she'll probably be able to at least pay the debt, so she'll at least be at a zero, because now with all the debts and them chasing her, she's at a minus. But now with this information, she could probably at least get like in a minus. Well, and get in a zero. So she's not gonna be in a good state, but she's gonna be in a bad state. And then she could get Musashi up higher, since Musashi is legitimately a powerful fighter. Like, he may have lost his only match, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter to civil people. What matters is them having an entertaining fight. And we'll see how the fight. And Musashi is technically a competent combatant. So, anyways, while Musashi is there with her and he's kind of acting like a bodyguard, he's kind of being like, "Ugh, this bitch is so annoying." And when you think about it, she doesn't really benefit me at all. I could just cut her head off and take the devil's ear and come up with a strategy to save Suzu and do something else. Ugh, how did I even get to this situation? And then Musashi kind of remembers how we get a bit of an explanation of how the two got there. And from what I could gather, like, they got shipwrecked there, and then they immediately got surrounded by people and guards. And Musashi and Suzu kind of the way this society works is they slave people and they then put them to nobles and higher rankers and people in high positions, and then they have them fight in the gladiatorial arena. So essentially, all that we have to do is like let these gods arrest us, then wait some time to get into a noble's place, and then the first chance we get, we can just kill the noble, take the stuff they have, and leave. So that was his plan. But then they learn about Luna and from the slave trades about like what they got sold by a newly adult noblewoman. They're like, "Wow, our opponent is practically still a child. This is gonna be even easier." As then he and Suzu encounter Luna, and the first thing Luna does when she encounters them is bow her hand and ask to help her. Which is something they will take her back, because the idea they got of this child was more like an arrogant noble who thinks they are high because they are from nobility. I mean, they're not surprised by this because that's a more common thought process in a lot of cultures. It's the same kind of thing in their own country. But here it's like, oh, it's a literal child, so it's gonna be easy. But they were kind of surprised that Luna was going to react in this way for them. So Luna explains, she asked them to help her. And Suzu and Rin, Suzu and Musashi are kind of like, alright, I guess we will help you. I mean, we can respect you. Like, we didn't think you would be this, aware of the situation, but alright, we will be your servants. We will help in this, help you succeed and become next Zai or whatever position you desire. So Musashi's like, no, I'm not gonna kill her. Like, she does, like, what she's doing is right. Like, I'm doing no different than what she is. It's just that we are I mean, she may have a more bright personality over losing, but at the end of the day, it's just something that happens. As Musashi has like that samurai thing where like, I will serve you and all that, and help you with that and all that. As then we have so after this moment between Musashi and Luna getting prepared to spy on Mikami to get some information to rise up in the world again, we have cut to Rin, Suzu, who is kind of just waiting in the bedroom for an hour, being like, alright, I'll help Musashi. Right now, I've eaten the devil's ear. I will now have to find a way to talk in a way that will get information so Musashi will be able to succeed, because Musashi is the one for me. As Mikami enters the room in a full-on beast mode, like the skinny nerd kind of beast mode, like you're going down, lady. As Rain is kind of intimidated by this because she didn't take him for the type of guy who's gonna be so aggressive in showing up in this gym, because Mikami is relatively chill when it comes to a lot of stuff. Like, even when she was probably being dragged by him, probably he wasn't like being super aggressive. So she's probably like taken aback by this by him being so aggressive. As Mikami also tells Suzu, he'll have his copy do it with all the others ones, and as soon as they get destroyed, a new one's gonna pop up for infinite stamina. So copies essentially now are doing doppelgangers are now doing a lot of work and a lot of pleasure for all of them. As he's getting ready, and tells Suzu to get ready because for the next 3 days and 3 nights, you and me are going to have some intense sexual intercourse. As we find out a little interesting information about Suzu, and that is due to the culture from her homeland, she's actually very weak to manliness. And the presence that Mikami is giving off right now is a very strong, manly presence. And she's kind of like, I mean, I guess that is my role now, so I will pleasure you, Master Mikami. So, Uzo and Mikami are getting ready for the Shin body play. As Musashi starts crying and pointing out, no, why is he doing Suzu so quickly? Why is she going for it so quickly? And he's like, stop it, you idiot, we need to get information, stop it. We need to be more concerned about the fact that our information gathering plot completely failed to her. Stop pulling your eyes out and just want how high I'm a pain of you. As then we cut to, I think a little bit before he showed up to Suzu, as Mikami's like talking with Zulu, as he's like telling her how he won, how he beat Suzu, and as Zulu's being like, great job, you really shown using Musashi, her feelings towards Musashi to get a battle of her and getting a death blow on her so you'll be able to win. Good job. As Musashi, as Mikami is a bit kind of conflicted now about the whole thing. Being like, I feel bad about using her feelings towards Musashi to beat her. I mean, I had to do it, so I understand why I did it, but it's just kind of leaves a bad taste in my mouth, As Zulu reacts to him being kind of conflicted about this, and he's like, is he being serious right now? Like, are you being serious right now? You're seriously having a conscience over the fact that you use her feelings towards Musashi against her and are now going to cock block him basically by by doing it before, by being her first while he has never done it. As then Zulu tells him to come closer, a bit closer. As Mikami does that, Azula slaps him in the face and tells him, alright, tell me something. Let's say, theoretically, once we have Zaida on the end of her ropes, like, she is at the mercy. Like, at this point, we can fuck her to next week, fuck her to death, or just kill her the standard dagger way. And during that moment, she starts talking about how, she runs an orphanage, and if she dies, the orphanage dies. Will you forgive her? Because I certainly will not. I will go through it. I want that bitch suffering. And you also want that bitch suffering. So, right now, regardless of what you have, so regardless of how you feel about that issue, you are a villain here. Not some hero. You used a woman's own feelings against her to win. Your feelings do not matter in this instance. Right now, you are the villain. You won underhandedly, and now you reap the rewards of it. So just commit to it, because this kind of weak-ass mindset about you, should you do this because of what you did against her, should not matter to you right now. So she gives him basically that strong talking to, and I really like what they're doing here, because now they're like doing the whole villain protagonist road, or at least that's what seems like they're going though, with how everyone's kind of being portrayed like a villain in this instance. With Zul telling him it no longer matters. It's a die or live world, and if you want to win, you have to be the villain. So, I mean, granted, this is that's kind of a bit of a problem where it could end up being very nihilistic, but it's kind of a logical thing where it's like, you'll do underhanded things to win. Our opponents will do underhanded things to win. You already did underhanded things to win. Essentially, no, you having some moral problems does not matter. And also, let's be straight up honest ourselves. Like, what the characters have done now isn't really morally right, anyways. You have merely torturing people after she wins them. You have Mari breaking people over and over again to flex her muscles. You have Alice blowing men who call her or who insult her testicles off, and the ones that she beats in fights, gender swapping them into her lolly harem group. And then you have what did to Phil, who's like probably like the most innocent in all this. You rape a guy who was forced to gender swap into a girl for his aunt because he didn't want to reveal that he can use a bunch of skills to his parents, and have assaulted him for multiple nights. In fact, we left him off with lesbian of all girls. Do you really think that Alice does not take advantage of women when in the bedroom? When you left? Do you really think those two did not do it? My headcanon is whenever we don't see Alice and we know the characters are not in the room, she's doing any kind of character. I'm completely convinced that she's doing that. Do you really think that's not what was happening during your whole match between Alice and Phil? So get off your more high horse and just commit to your villain act. And Mikami agrees to it. Like, he kind of sees it, and also I feel like consider how much of a nerd he is. He probably has like read stories where it's like, oh, the only reason why this guy's a protagonist is because at least he's not wearing human skin, or at least he won't get the idea of wearing human skin just randomly. He'll get it for revenge purposes. So Mikami probably does like kind of agree with it. So Mikami does agree with it. So he goes through with it. So it's time for him to do it. So for the next 3 nights, he's going to be the biggest villain on Suzu in existence. And while he's doing this act, we'll end this chapter with a bit of a comical way, which is kind of funny. This like chapter has like this very big discussion about villains and all that stuff, but then we end it with like by making it look like Musashi and Luna are gonna be basically a Team Rocket, because Musashi, after hearing all this about what Mikami is doing at Suzu, he just starts bawling his eyes like a baby, starts running away. I'm not sure where he's running to, but you have just Luna running behind him, be like, stop bawling your eyes out, you fucking man, be a man! As they're running away from that like abandoned cottage that they found. So yeah, that's the end of the chapter. Now, I'm not entirely certain how much of a side plot we are going to have with Luna and Musashi, because in a way, this could also be like an end for them, because Luna said that like she's not weak, she can still do it, she can still do more, which goes back to Lisa's words, like villains lose everything, that's their second birth, so they either become strong, or they get eaten alive. And now Luna's last ditch effort, or last thing she had in her repertoire, has just become useless and wasted, leaving only Musashi now being a crybaby. So I'm not sure this meant to like be the end of her, or if they're gonna come back into play in a bit later, which is gonna be more comedy relief now. I really know, but we have to see more of the story to see how things are gonna go. Since I kind of doubt we're going to have a focus. We're gonna have like every single character who we have a Coliseum battle with is going to have like some kind of big major plot. And even now we have like we have Mikami's group, we have DCS, we have Zaya, who can pretty much be considered different groups, and we may have Luna and her side story. it'll be kind of weird if we got like every single combatant. Like maybe it's gonna be a thing where Luna's gonna take the defeated combatants and make her own team to like fight or something. Like maybe she's gonna make the opposite of Mikami and me where she have like extremely powerful man or something on her side. But we have to wait and see on that side. But regardless, that's the end of the Coliseum fights and also the end of this of the chapters that I've read for these last 2 weeks. Which, my God, we have like I think it's like what 3 hours of discussion. Well, anyways, if you stuck this long, thank you very much, and I hope you leave a like. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more videos in the future. Don't also forget to give your thoughts on these chap series that I've discussed this week. Or these 2 weeks in the comments below. And with that said, I cannot wait to see all of you mortals next time. Goodbye.